Very easy game. Alright, are you familiar with the show at all?
I watched it.
Okay. So you know these two characters? Yes. So we've got Bakugo and Midoriya. So the way this game plays, the characters are exactly like how they are in the show.
Okay.
So of course, the way we see it, the characters are representations of how they are. So Jasco makes fighting card games. So they're fighting games like video games, but in card form. So when you're selecting your character like you would in a video game. So that's the character you're going to play. That's like your hero, your champion, and every card in the deck is right now going to reflect that character.
Okay.
So who are you interested in?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Alright, so first off we have our characters, right?
That's my character.
Right. So you have your hand size here. So they both have, for demo purposes, they both have a 6-card hand size. They both have 28 health.
Okay.
And then they have effects and they have elements. So Bakugo's elements are air, death, and fire.
Okay.
Midoriya is good, light, and order. So every card in this deck is going to have all 3 elements because it's a demo.
Yeah.
So, but when you would build a deck, you would build around 1 element.
Okay.
You can have multiples of, like if you wanted to build Bakugo, let's say on fire, and your cards had death and fire in them, it's still okay as long as you chose fire and every card in the deck has fire.
Okay.
So in the text box we have their abilities. So responses are instant abilities that you can use at any time that you meet the criteria. So for Bakugo, he has Fury attack, but he's a very angry Taurus.
Yeah.
So his attacks, which are the orange cards, they say attack right here. They have an orange barrier or border, and they have Fury right at the top. So that's how you know it's a Fury card. So if I was to block your Fury attack, then what Bakugo says is you can send that card to the graveyard to play another card. Now the reason why you would do that is because we have a progressive difficulty in the game. This makes it harder for you to play cards. So kind of like how in a fighting game, how it makes it harder for you to press buttons to do combos.
Yeah.
That's simulated here on the field. So you have your modifier, which is +0, moving to +1, +2, +3. There's no limit on what you do. It's just about how many cards you can play. So the orange number that's at the top, every card has this, is a difficulty number.
Okay.
So that difficulty gets modified by the progressive difficulty modifier. So the harder it gets to play those cards, it adds on to that number. So of course 0 + 4 is 4. So you would, when I get to it, you would look for a 4 to pay for that. And then it resolves. Then when you play another card, it'll be +1 with that
5.
number. And so on and so forth.
So here I'm like at 9.
Yeah. So what you do in this game is the way that you pay for cards when you play them is we have a check system. So that blue number is on every card, even characters, because characters can go in the deck. And when you play a card, let's say you play this, right? So you're looking for 4 or greater. So you would take the top card of your deck, flip it over, and there's the blue number. So that blue number is going to be the payment. If that number is equal or greater than, you get to keep the card. If it's less, then your turn ends. Or you might be able to pay for it. You can pay for it with foundations that you build into your stage area. So kind of like how in Magic, how you can tap mana to pay for stuff. If your check number is lower than your progressive difficulty number, let's say you played a couple attacks, right? You play a couple cards and you're playing this on a 6. Well, you hit a 5, right, on the top of your deck. If you have foundations in your stage, you can just tap them to pay for the 1 difference.
Okay.
So that 5 would become a 6 because you would have tapped the foundation, which is pretty much the whole game at that point. Like
Okay.
So the only thing else that there is blocking, which is very complicated for people at first. Which is why I use the rulebook. It's easier for some people to see it than to play it. So, at the top of every card, as you see, is a shield, right?
Yeah.
These shields are color coded. So, to block an attack, you need to either match the shield with the speed of the attack, which is the bubble. So, signature right swing has a high attack, which is red, or you can say red attack, for 3 speed. So for me, I would need to either play a red shield or an orange shield to try to block it. If I match the color, then it's a full block and I take no damage. If it's not the same color, I take half damage regardless. Yeah. And the way you would simulate that is when you're ready to attack, like over here. Let's say this was your attack because you're playing Bakugo, right? Let's say I play a block. I have an orange block. So it will be 3 plus, actually, here's the card right here. So it will be 3 plus 2. And I need to check the top card of my deck for a 5. See how that works?
Okay.
So like how you had to check to play that card, I have to check for this card. But instead of checking for the difficulty, I'm checking for the shield plus the speed. So I would flip over the top card. 5, I would take half damage.
And it's this right?
For the check number.
Okay.
And that's blocking. Literally, that's blocking. There's nothing else more complicated than it. It's just trying to remember it takes a while because it's new. Other than that, the reason why the attack cards are orange is because of their abilities. So you notice how Bakugo has an ability called an enhance, and so do your attacks, right? And so do some of your foundations. They also have this orange text called enhance. So when you play an attack, you enter the enhance step. The enhance step allows you
When
to
I do an
use.
attack.
Yeah. When you play an attack, you get to enter the enhance step, which is why the cards are orange to tell you that you can now activate these enhance abilities. So you can use the abilities that are on your foundations in your stage, and the current attack you're playing, and on your character. Nothing from your hand. There are some cards that do activate from the hand, but that's beyond the scope of this demonstration. So,
Okay.
So you get to use 1 enhance per turn.
Okay.
So the way it would go is, let's say you played signature right swing, you did your check for it, right? It passed. So now you enter the enhance step. So you can either activate that, or whatever you have in your stage. After you activate one of those enhances, it goes to me. So then it passes priority. So I can activate one of my enhances to try to counter your enhance. So kind of think of like the stack in Magic, you know, where like you play an instant, I respond with another instant, you know, type of thing. That's what's going on. So when both players agree that they're not activating any more enhance abilities, then you go to blocks. And that's how the card resolves. So pretty much you're playing the card, you check to see if you get to keep it, then you get to activate the abilities back and forth if you want to, and then you move to blocks. So kind of the same way you would in Magic, how you would, I'm going to tap mana, to play the card. Do you have a response? Yes, I have a response. No, I don't have a response. Okay, then we move forward, the card resolves, kind of thing. Except the damage is done at the end of those abilities back and forth. Because you can use stuff to increase its speed or its damage, or use abilities to draw cards or to do something to gain an advantage. And that's literally the whole game. Not even joking. You just rinse and repeat until someone dies.
So I put him there.
Yes. So he's going to stay there. You can activate their abilities, and you can also use them to pass checks. So like with foundations, how you could tap them to pass checks, you can also use your character, but anything that's tapped can't be used for the rest of the turn because it's used. And then anything that's flipped face down, there are cards that say flip, which means flip face down.
Like literally.
Like Like if it's
Like-
face up, you flip it face
Oh,
down.
okay.
And then it'll stay face down for the rest of the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There are cards that do unflip cards in certain elements, so it's a pretty powerful effect. Usually cards that say flip are really strong because you can't use them again after that. But cards that say commit mean tap, and then you can untap them during the start of your turn.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty similar to other games. It's just a matter of playing it.
Until you get it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So, at the start of our turns, we're both going to draw 6 cards. Okay. And you can look at the 6 if you want to. And what you want to have in your opening hand are more gray cards than orange cards. Because you cannot attack on your first turn because you have no resources. Right? So
Gray cards.
yes. So the foundations. So I'll go first just to show you how it works.
Yeah.
I'm going to mulligan my hand because I have all attacks and no foundations.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my hand down and I'm just going to draw a new 6. And I don't shuffle in that 6 until I've found what I like. I can do this 2 times, and on the 3rd time I have to keep the hand. I'm going to keep this hand. So I'm going to shuffle this back in. And for you, since you're going second, you get the opportunity of a partial mulligan. So you can look at the cards that you have in your hand that you don't want and just put those down and draw new cards, splitting the difference.
Oh.
Second player gets a lot of benefits because they are the first to defend.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So you kind of want to, manage your hand as best as you can. So I would get rid of just the attacks.
The attacks.
Yeah. Because you're going to draw a new hand every turn.
Okay.
Yep, so just put them down and draw 2 new cards.
Yep.
Alright, so then if you have what you like, shuffle those back in. Alright, ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is how it works for foundations when you start the game. So 0 plus 2 is 2, right? 3, it clears. So now I can play another card. 1 plus 2 is 3. 6, so I can play another card. 2 plus 2 is 4. 5, I can play another card. 1 plus 3 is 4. 5, and I'm going to end my turn. So now that I'm ending my turn because I don't want to play anything else, I'm going to build these into my stage area so I can use for later.
Okay.
Now it is your turn. So now you get the choice if you want to draw an extra card at the start of your turn because you're going second,
Oh yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you can play your foundations.
So I do.
Yep. So put it in.
2,
the
and that's
zone.
2.
Mm-hmm.
And then. Okay.
Yep. So 3. So it clears. So now you can play
Barely
another
clear.
card.
Okay. And then I do 3.
Yep. So 3 is the lowest check you're going to have in your deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
So,
clears?
Yep, it clears. So now you can play another card. All right. Yep. Those are the auto ones because 3 is the lowest check you have in your deck.
And then I have
Highest
4.
is 6.
Yep.
Oh,
And that one did.
so now you have a choice. Do you want to commit your character to pay for it,
right?
which you won't be able to use your character until your next turn?
Now, these doesn't help me to protect anyways, right?
Bakugo is not defensive at all in Season 1. These are Season 1 characters, so Bakugo does not care about defense, so he's useless on defense.
Yeah, so like I would not use them until my next turn anyways when I was to attack.
Exactly.
So for now, yeah, I'll put them.
Yep, so you just tap them, and that pays for it. So now you can pay another card if you want to, or end your turn.
So I try to.
Yeah, you could try to go for, like if you have a 1, that would be a 5.
If I have a 2, then it's now.
I
it's
wouldn't
not
go.
good.
No. I mean, you do have 6s. You've played 2 of them. There are 2 more in the deck.
Yeah.
So
No.
do you-
Okay, but let's say I did it,
Mhm.
and then it didn't clear. It goes here.
You would, yep, it would go there and it would automatically end your turn.
Okay. Yeah, command.
Alright, so build
I've
your cards
created-
into your stage. Yep. And now it's my turn. So I have the option of what's called a review, which we both do at the start of every turn. Review means before you draw cards, you can choose if you want to get rid of one card in your hand and draw a new card. So for me, I like what I have in my hand. I don't want to get rid of it, so I'm going to draw up to 6. So I'm going to draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in your second hand, you want more attacks than foundations because now you want to attack.
Okay.
So looking at what I have, I'm going to start off with Heroic Strike for 4. So top card, 3. So I'm going to commit this card to pay for it. So now we go into the enhanced step. I am going to use my attack Heroic Strikes Enhanced. It says your rival commits 1 foundation for each punch attack in your card pool. So this is my card pool. There's only 1 punch attack in here, so you have to tap 1 card, 1 of your foundations.
Where are my foundations?
Yep.
This one.
Alright. So now it is your turn to activate an enhance ability. Do you want to activate an enhance or pass?
I think I'll. I don't know what to do. Like,
Well, read what they do.
enhance commit. This punch attack gets -3 speed. That's my attack or your attack? That attack.
Okay.
Sure, I'll do it.
I mean, you
what
don't
does
have
it do?
to.
Huh?
So this is a punch attack.
Yeah.
Right. All my attacks are punches because this is Midoriya. Right.
Okay.
So the decks kind of go against each other. If you make the speed lower, it'll go from a 4 to a 1. So if you plan on blocking this,
Yeah.
it'll make it easier for you to block it.
Because then I can block it with this.
Only with cards from your hand.
All from cards from my hand.
So you're looking at the shields in your hand. So do you want to
Okay, so yeah, I
make-
want to do that.
But keep in mind, this is my first attack. I might play more attacks.
Oh.
And you
so,
might lose
like you can.
resources.
So you can bring a card down at any time.
Well, this is my turn.
Yeah,
So-
then comes your turn.
So since I'm playing my first attack, this is just the first attack.
And you could potentially bring another one after
Mhm.
this one. Oh, interesting.
And you can only block with what's in your hand. So you have to think about what's going to be more beneficial. Do you really want to block 4 damage when you have 28 health?
Yeah.
Or do you want to wait for something stronger to hit the field?
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of player you are.
I'll wait for now, see what happens.
Okay. So you're going to pass?
Yeah.
Alright. You can also use that one if you want to draw different cards. But for me, I'm going to pass as well. So since you passed and I passed, we go to blocks.
Okay.
So now, do you want to block this attack that's coming at you?
So now, if I block it, let's
Mhm.
say I use like.
So you
a
would
2.
need like the example, you would need a red shield or an orange shield because this is a high attack. Actually, it's that same card.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
And then you'll do half. So like
So if
I
it's
do
orange,
3,
you'll take 2 damage.
regardless if it's 3 or 2, anyways.
Yeah.
So
So
and then
you're
I
just looking
discard
at-
it.
You would play it like you would any other card. And you don't have to block. It's up to you.
No, I'll take it for now.
You'll take the 4 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is successful and deals damage. The attack has resolved. So now I can play another card.
Okay.
So I'm going to try my luck. I'm going to play another Heroic Strike, but now for 5. I got a 5, so that clears. So now we enter the enhanced step. I am going to activate Heroic Strike's effect. Now I have 2 punch attacks in my card pool, so you have to commit 2 cards this time. So you have to tap 2 foundations.
After that, 2 foundations.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, now it is your turn. Would you like to activate an enhance ability?
Yeah, so I'll do this one.
Alright, what does it say?
Commit. This punch attack gets -3 speed.
Alright, so you're gonna tap it.
Tap it.
And this gets -3 speed, so it's now a 1 speed high attack for 4 damage. Now it is my turn. I am going to pass priority to you. There's nothing I want to do.
Okay.
And since you're fully committed because you're tapped out, there's nothing you can do. So we'll move to blocks.
Yeah.
So this is a 1 speed high for 4 damage. Do you want to block it?
And then this one too is 4.
Nope, that one's done.
Oh, that one's done.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that one already dealt damage.
It's 1 speed for 4 damage.
Yep. So you would need a red or an orange shield.
I'll do this one. Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you need 2 plus 1, 3. So you need a 3 or
Okay.
higher. So you got a 6. So that blocks, so now you take no damage. That was a full block.
Okay.
So now it is back to me if I want to play another card. I have no moment. I'm going to play this Velocity Punch for 6. I got a 3. So I'm going to commit 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So Velocity Punch has an ability where it says add 1 foundation from your stage to your momentum. Momentum is like your super meter in this case. So I'm going to take this committed foundation and I'm going to add it to my momentum to use for later.
Okay.
Now it is your in hand and you're fully tapped out. So there's nothing you can do at the moment.
So we'll go directly to blocking.
Yep. Because I'm not going to do anything else after this.
Okay.
So this is a 4 speed low attack for 4 damage. So you would need a orange or a yellow shield.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't. I think I'll take it.
Okay. So you'll be at 20 health.
Yeah.
Alright, so you'll take that hits. It goes back to me. I'm going to play this 1 card for 5, passing the torch. It's a 3, I don't have enough to pay for it, so it fails. So that ends my turn.
Okay.
So since these 2 dealt damage, this one did not, this one goes to discard, because that's the one you blocked. And I'm going to send these 2 to the momentum pile, because they dealt damage to you. And now it is your turn. So now you get to untap your card. Yep, just like magic. This is going to go to the discard pile, because it did its job. And now you get to review.
So then I do 4 cards?
No, now you get to review. So do you want to keep one of the 2 cards that are in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're not going to review, so draw up to 6. So yeah, draw 4. Yep. Okay. So now we are at the start of your turn. So now you can play attacks because it is your 2nd turn. So you don't have to only play attacks. Since attacks are higher in difficulty, it's recommended, but not necessary or mandatory, for you to play your attacks first because the progressive difficulty gets higher as you go on, right?
Yeah.
So you would want to, if you're going to play foundations, play them after your attacks. Because they're lower in difficulty. Or you could play them first and try to chance your luck. Some people like to gamble. It's okay.
Okay, so if I do this one, I have to.
Yep, 5.
Then I like.
So that's a 3.
I'll have to tap 2.
Yep, you got it. So what 2 foundations would you like to check?
What is my enhanced step again?
After you play an attack and it resolves.
So if I do these 2.
If you want to, yeah.
If I do these two, then I can pay for it.
Yes.
Right. And then if I want to use it, I have to use it now.
Yeah, so now that you paid for it, that 3 becomes a 5, so it clears. So now we are entering the enhanced step. So now you can use your enhanced abilities. So which one would you like to use first? If you want help, you can always ask for help.
No, I think I'm okay. I don't think I want to be in a thing. Well, let me see if I can do this.
Okay.
So if I use enhance for this,
Yes.
into this one, right?
Well,
Well,
we're in the enhanced step overall.
So if I say destroy one foundation, your attack gets plus 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So if I destroy this one, this one gets plus 2 damage.
And then what does that say?
And then this one, when it gets here, after this card enters your discard pile during your attack sequence stop, your rival loses 2 health.
Yep.
This effect cannot reduce the rival below 1 health.
Yep.
So that does a combo? Okay, so yeah, one of those.
So that's what you do. So you use Bakugo's Enhance. I take 2 damage, which puts me at 26.
Do I like hit him? No.
And then this goes up to 7 damage. So that is a 4-speed low for 7 damage. I'm going to commit passing the torch to draw a card. And that's my only response. Go ahead. So now it's back to you. Now you can use another enhance or...
And I can bring another one down, right? Theory?
Not until blocks. Not until after blocks.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, now I go for the full attack, I guess? That's
Okay.
good? Yeah.
So you're going to send it?
Yeah, I send it.
Alright. So that is a 4-speed low for 7 damage, which 7 is a lot of damage. Plus you hit me for 2 damage. I'm going to try to partial block it. So 2 plus 4 is 6. I check the 5, so it fails because I have nothing, so I take 7 damage.
Okay.
Yep. And now you get to play another attack.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a 5 now.
Yep.
So do this. 3.
Yep. So you
And then
need 2. So it's up to you. Do you want to let the attack fail or pay the 2?
If I let the attack fail,
You end
it
your
dies.
turn automatically.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it dies, right? Okay, so I'll pay for it, I guess.
Okay. Alright, so that resolves. So now you enter the enhanced step again. So that means you can use the current attack or your character's enhance.
Okay. No,
Alright, so let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Do you have any more cards like this in your hand?
Yeah.
Read that effect.
Discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. Oh, because then it activates.
Because you're in your enhanced step.
Ah, okay.
Technically,
Okay.
that foundation does the same thing as this attack, but you tapped it.
So like for example, I say, okay, I discard 2 cards.
Yes, so you would say you're going to activate the enhance on signature rate swing, which does what?
So this one is a 2 lives,
So what are the 2 cards?
but burst speed and aggressive temper.
Alright, so when you discard those 2 cards, what happens?
Then it activates this one.
Yes.
After this attack enters your discard pile, the attack gets plus 2 damage.
Yep, so that makes it 6 damage.
And then it's 2
Yep, and then I lose 2 life. Yep.
And this one is directly.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's a burn card, so I take 2 health, so I lost 7, which put me at 21, then I lost another 2, so I'm at 19.
Okay.
Yep.
And then this adds up.
Yep, so then that's at 6 damage, and then you draw your 2 cards, And since I am tapped out, there's nothing for me to do, so it goes back to you. So now you can either use Bakugo's Enhance again, or pass your turn. Or pass priority.
Because now I am.
So if you wanted to increase the damage more,
It's at 6 right now, right?
Yeah. You could make it 8 if you want to go all in.
But then I destroy my mana thingy.
Yeah, you would destroy 1 foundation.
No, I think I'm good for that.
Okay.
So I don't get to read it.
Okay. So you're gonna send that attack?
Yeah.
All right. So that is a 3-speed high for 6 damage. I'm going to just try it anyway. Yeah, I'll just try it anyway. So that'll be 6 that I need to check for. I got a 3. It fails, so I take the 6 damage.
Okay.
And now you can play another card. So.
And then I try to do this one.
Alright. Yes, you can. You could have actually discarded that card with the other to do 4 damage to it.
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I can discard it now? No.
No, you could have did it before with
Oh no, that's the one that I
yeah.
got new.
Oh, and you drew
Yeah.
into it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Alright,
so I
so
have to
you played that one,
4.
so check, yep. You got a 5.
Go.
Yep, so that's
then
5.
I can keep it.
Yep, so are you going to end your turn or are you going to play another card?
No, that's it.
That's it? Alright, so if that's
Wait.
it, are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you will build that card into your stage since you're ending your turn. And then these 2 attacks dealt damage, so they go face down under your character into your momentum.
What's the whole purpose of this?
Read the first attack you played.
Attack.
Mm-hmm.
Discard 1 momentum. This attack gets plus 1 damage for each sheer attack in your discard. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's what momentum is used for. It's used for stronger abilities, pretty much game-winning abilities.
But I have to be playing this one here.
But it has to be in your momentum. So the only way you can get momentum is either by successfully dealing damage with attacks, or having a card like how I had, where it automatically puts a card into your momentum. So remember how that one put one of my foundations into my momentum?
Yeah.
So that's a way to kind of like get it in faster, to cheat it so you can use those abilities quicker, or you can do successful attacks. Bakugo also has attacks that kind of instantly go into the momentum, but that's like in the full deck. Yeah. So momentum is what you'll use for later for future attacks, to try to like win the game.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's my turn. I'm going to untap. And I'm going to not review, and I'm going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me see. I'm losing here, so I'm at 17 health and you're at 20. I'll go for some fancy stuff.
No.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I should. No, I'll go for it. So I'm going to play Aspiring Punch for 5. 5, it clears. I am going to use Midoriya's second Enhance, which is a once per turn effect. So once per turn, I'm going to discard my entire hand to the discard pile. And I'm going to give this attack plus 10 damage.
Oh, okay.
So now it is your Enhance.
So now I could.
So now
Lock
you
it.
can activate an Enhance ability.
Yes, for instance.
Which there's kind of nothing for you to use because Bakugo is not defensive at all.
Yeah, no, and these ones are all like tapped.
Yeah.
So I don't have enhance.
Yep. So you're gonna pass.
I pass my enhance part.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So you pass priority. I'm going to use Aspiring Punch's Enhance ability, which says discard 1 momentum. This attack gets +5 speed if its attack is higher than 10. So it's going to get 5 speed, making it a 10 speed mid for 15 damage.
Okay.
Your enhance. Well, your response, technically.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, I just can try blocking it, ish.
Yeah, when I'm done using enhance ability.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have any enhance.
Alright, so I'm going to use Passing the Torch because I have no cards in my hand. I'm going to commit it and draw 2 cards. It is now
Okay.
your enhance again.
Okay. I don't have any.
Alright, so you're passing. I'm going to pass as well because there's nothing else for me to do. So you're looking at 10 speed.
Yeah.
Will you be able to block that?
Which I don't have, but I still like
You can try to block it, yeah.
use one of my highest card type of thing.
Yeah. You can sacrifice a card for the
Yeah.
sake of drawing more cards.
Um,
Or you can try to hold on to your cards for other attacks, because that's 15 damage, which will put you at 5 health.
okay, so let me see. If I bring this one down, right? This one can,
So that would be 3,
3.
plus 10.
which is gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
But that's so. What happens is,
It
oh no,
would-
it has to block it for me to get half of it,
Mm-hmm. But if you fail to
So-
block, you take all of it.
and I just lose the card. Anyways.
Yes.
So like at this point, there's not really anything like really. If I didn't, if I don't have any.
If you had more foundations, you would be able to
I'll
pay
try.
for it. Mm-hmm.
But still, yeah. 5, 6, 7. So I would have had to like one more and all of them on top. Okay. Okay, so I mean I have to take it.
Yeah, alright, so you're gonna take 15 damage.
Yeah.
So that's unblocked, so you're at 5. So then now I would be able to play another attack if I kept my hand. So I'm actually going to end my
You wanna
turn.
play?
I'm going to end my turn. This goes to momentum,
Okay.
and it is your turn.
Okay, and then I on top.
Yep.
And then I draw.
And then you can choose if you want to review or not.
I review, and then I want to keep it.
So which one card do you not want, or do you want to keep them all?
Yeah, I'll keep them all.
Alright, so then you're going to draw 3 cards.
Okay. And then I bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
I bring this one down.
Alright,
That's
so
a
that's
5.
5. Yep.
I
So
got
you
5.
got a 5. Alright.
And then I go one by one, right? So like
Yep.
I have to do this thing first.
Alright, so what enhance are you going to activate?
Let me see. In the next attack, you play this turn. So this one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So that would be this attack.
the next one after this
Mm-hmm.
one. You get +3 speed. The next attack you play this turn is blah blah. Gets a 3 damage. Okay.
So that is a passive ability, waiting for the next attack that you play. So now it goes to me. I'm not going to activate an enhance just yet. And back to you.
Okay. So I think. Let me see. If
Remember,
I
you still have Bakugo, you have latent skill that you can use. So that's a 5 speed, 6 damage attack. That's pretty high up there already.
And for you to block it, you have to do.
That would be 5 plus whatever shield I have. Yeah.
Okay, so if I.
So remember what you did with Bakugo before?
Yeah.
And that card.
Yeah. So
Or
yeah.
you could do that one and whatever you have in your hand if you have more response cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Or you could save them for the next attack, whichever that card's going to be.
That's what I'm also thinking, if I should save it for the next one. Okay, so.
You don't have to activate anything, it's up to you. But you get to activate 1 enhance per attack.
Okay, so let me attack with this one.
Okay, so you're just not going to activate anything else?
Not for now.
Okay, I'm going to activate an enhance on Midoriya. So Midoriya has the enhance ability where he can call out your next attack. And your next attack gets -3 speed if I call it right. So since you played an ability that targets a high attack or a mid attack, I'm going to call that your next attack is high. So if you play a high attack next...
That's a red?
Yep. The red one, it gets -3 speed.
Okay.
And that's my ability. So back to you.
Okay. So. No, I just want to.
You're going to pass? Okay. Alright, so we're going to move to blocks. I'm going to pass as well. There's nothing left for me to do. 5 speed. I'm going to take the 6 damage because I don't know what you have coming next.
Okay.
So I'm at 11.
Okay.
So now you can play another card.
So now I
We started off with 28 health.
play this
No,
one.
it's just the whole.
Yeah.
Going back and
It's
forth.
Yeah,
pretty
no.
much, it's pretty much the stack, but mandatory. Yeah. I know. It's just a slower version of the stack. That's all it is. Once you get used to it, you just start doing stuff back and forth like you would in Magic. So that's going to be 6.
So that's a 6.
Yep. So 5 plus 1.
And it does not get a 3 damage?
You have to do that first.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to do
Pay
this.
for it.
Wait, 6.
So that's 5.
5, and then.
You can still commit that card and then destroy
Destroy
it and
it.
get the buff. Yes.
This.
Alright. So that's 6.
6, yeah.
Alright, so now it gets the buff from the previous attack. So what does it get?
So now it's 9?
What does it get?
It gets 3.
So it
3
gets
damage.
3 damage?
Yeah, orange takes 3 damage.
Alright. Where's
Now I know what it looks like, all the dice.
Yep, this is why I have so many dice, and it's amazing how people steal them from me. So that is at 9 damage.
Okay.
So now you can activate and enhance.
Okay.
That is almost lethal for me. So you can still use this one, or you can use Bakugo or Layton's.
Flip is like.
Flip it face down. Yep.
Face down. Okay. Then. So I do this.
Okay. So you're gonna activate his enhance. You don't tap it.
I don't know. I destroy this one.
Yep. And what does that do?
It dies, and then
Mhm.
it gives 2 damage to this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I put 5,
Yep. So that's at 11, which is now lethal. And what does that do?
and then this one you lose 2 health.
All right. So I'm at 9.
So you're 9.
So that puts me at. That puts you at lethal. I'm going to use my Bonds of Friendship. I'm going to flip it face down and give your attack -3 damage.
Okay.
So it is back at 8. So it'll be +2.
Okay.
So back to you. You're in hands. So now you can use this one or this one.
And then how many do you have in your hand?
I have 2 cards in hand.
And for you to block it,
I would need.
4 or 5.
I would probably need to check That'll be 5 plus whatever's in my hand. I would need to shuffle and then check something higher than a 3. So I have 3 cards available.
So maybe not.
Well, I mean, if you can do something else, I say go ahead. I mean, that's literally lethal for my health right now. So,
Yeah.
so I have to block it.
I mean, for now, I think because
You can still activate that one.
which is for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait and I'll just leave it like that for now. So I attack like this.
All right, you're not going to activate any enhance?
No. No.
Okay, I'm going to use Midoriya's ability again because this is a new attack. I'm going to call high attack on your next one.
That's the right one, right?
Yep, so I'm going to call red on the next attack. You're enhanced.
So I don't do anything right now.
You can activate this one or this one. It's up to you.
Oh,
Or pass.
wait. No, I'm not.
You're still in your enhanced then.
In my hand for this attack.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So. Yeah, no, because I want to save this one for putting down something later if this fails.
Okay. Alright, so it's
Yeah.
up to you. You're going to pass?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to pass. We're going to move to block. I'm going to attempt to block. I'll go for 6 on a partial block. So since I have no cards in my deck, I shuffle. And for the demo purposes, I won't do the penalty, but there is a penalty for running out of cards. So normally in the game, you would remove the top 10 cards from play. This is the demo. I'll just remove.
How many can you have?
In a deck, you can have a minimum of 50 cards. There's no maximum.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to. Yeah, you can do the old Yu-Gi-Oh stuff and have like 200 cards if you want to. So that's a 5. I need 6. I'm going to commit 1 to pay the difference, and I'm going to take half damage.
Okay.
So half block, I'm at 5.
Okay.
So now you can play another attack if you, or
So
another
now
foundation.
I bring this one.
All right.
And that's a 6.
So that's a mid. So you need to check.
So
So
5.
you got a 5.
And then with this one I pay 6.
All right. So it gets nothing from my buff because that's a mid attack and I call it high.
Okay.
And you didn't use that ability, so it doesn't get anything.
Okay.
So it is your enhanced now.
So then if I flip this,
Mm-hmm.
I can put down 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put these 2.
All right. So what do those two do?
It gets 4 damage. Well, 2 each.
Oh. Okay. So that gets 8 damage.
And then I draw 2.
Yep.
And then I can destroy this one now.
Mm-hmm.
So I destroy it, and it gets 2.
All right.
Right.
Yep. So it's at 10.
And then that's it.
And I'm not going to do anything either because there's nothing for me to do. So we'll move to blocks, and that's way beyond lethal. And even if I block it, that's still going to be game because that'll be half damage. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7. I check the 3, so I take full damage. Good game.
Oh my gosh.
You won.
You won. You're the one that walked me through that whole thing. Okay.
It's only
Yeah.
difficult because you're
This-
learning all the cards, you know?
And you know what? It's not difficult. It's just like the whole thing that way. I have to attack the whole thing, enhance, and then move to the next punch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I mean I kind of like it because it's oh wait, so I hold the next punch, right? Don't, and then which one do I bring
Mhm.
down? And then
Exactly.
this one, I had to have a special card.
Yeah,
to be
so
able to
you were
use this.
looking for that
That one.
attack.
Uh,
So you want to hold on to that attack. I mean, now that you know. So now you would want to hold on to that card so that way you can use it as a finisher. But you saw how much damage you did right there. You know, you did a lot of
well,
damage.
these ones.
Mm-hmm. So those ones kind of stack on top of each other, always supporting the next card. And that one does too. So the way the combo would work for Bakugo is ideally you would want to play these two cards and then finish with this card. So you see how that combo works out?
So it would be like this.
Yeah. So you see how the effects play out?
So this one makes it 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one destroys your land, well, your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then that one.
And then this one helps me do the
Yep.
Rich Fury attack. Okay, okay, so you have this card.
So let's say I blocked one of these cards, right?
Mhm.
And you used your response to send it to the discard pile, right?
After
So
Fury.
since I wasn't able to block you this game, we never got to do it. So what that means is, let's say you use that ability and I blocked that attack, right?
Mhm.
Well, that would go to your discard pile
With
by
this.
using that response. So then when you play this, you play it on 0.
Oh, but
See
it
how
still
that
has this enhancement or not
Yes.
anymore? Because it's stacked from the
Mhm.
past. Okay.
So you would play it there, but my block stays because I blocked that attack. So now it's getting harder for me to block and it's getting easier for you to play attacks.
And then I can do the same with this one
So if I block that
Discard
one, it would go and then that one would be in the 0 slot
with the
with the buff still activated.
of this one.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep. So there are cards and decks that can manipulate the card pool to make things easier for them to play more cards.
Okay, yeah, I guess I get it now because he's also like, yeah, the fast attack, like fast, attack,
Mhm.
attack, which makes sense with this. Okay, now I get it.
Yep.
Wait. This is the one that
Yes.
I wanted. So I want to have these ones
Mhm.
in my hand.
I mean, ideally, you want to see these 3 cards. Those are the 3 cards you want to see when you're trying to finish a game with this deck. Because that's your winning combo right there. So you want to try to hold on to these cards as much as possible and play everything else. You know, because for if this was the full decks, we'd be at 28 health, right?
Yeah.
So you would want to use every other attack to kind of poke, do a little bit of damage here, use the
-2.
burn, use the aggressive temper to try to like pump up the damage of your attacks. He's pretty much a red deck in Magic. He's like
Yeah.
Bakugo is like red black in a sense,
Yeah. Okay.
which reflects in his elements. Because he's got fire and depth, so he's red black.
And then you have 4 of each.
Yes, you can have
That's
4
the
of each
maximum?
card.
And what's like the ratio for what is this land?
When we do deck building, you want to do a third of your deck as attacks. So let's say you build a 60 card deck, for example, right?
Yeah.
20 attacks, 40 foundations. That's what you would want to go for.
Okay, so that you can always have foundation.
Because you want to build more foundations so that you can pay for stuff, right?
Yeah, because that was my problem. Like half the
Mhm.
game, that's okay. I need not to stop. stop
Exactly.
everything. Okay.
And you don't have to play attacks after your second turn. It's just an option.
Yeah.
You could choose to build more foundations if you want to, and not attack.
So this is my commander guy.
Yep. It's pretty much like mini commander. That's really what it's like. That's why this game is so fun. This is why I stopped playing Magic. Because
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it took us a little while because I'm learning, but
Yeah, 'cause you're
I
learning.
can see it's like a little, can be fast, fast paced. If you're like the dropping, it's
Yes.
like the man is like a very.
yeah, once you learn once you learn the mechanics, you just do them automatically. Okay, this, bam, I play this card, bam, check, okay, build foundations. Okay, you play something, I'm gonna, I won't activate an enhanced, now go ahead. You know what you're gonna do after a while. But when you're learning the game and you're adding more cards to your card pool, you're building and building and building, right? So it's gonna get a little difficult because you're gonna be like, okay, I have way more cards here now. Which ones do I want to activate? Is there a combo here that I can play off of? Like, as you saw with like destroying a foundation, and then discarding cards, you were getting buffs and dealing
Yeah,
damage.
yeah, I like that.
So that's kind of like this Bakugo is Grixis, red, blue, black. That's
Okay.
how he plays. He discards cards, he draws cards, he destroys cards, he burns.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's
So,
pretty
like,
much how-
So wait, how many variations of decks are like for every
So
character?
for every character, there's at least one version, and then depending on how many different times they showed up in the show, they get a different variation. So Bakugo and Midoriya have 2 versions right now.
Okay.
So-
Oh yeah, because you were saying this is like the first season.
Yeah, so that's season 1. So set 2, Crimson Rampage, is season 2. So then that was during the festival. So when they had their tournament. So then they have a version for those cards.
And they
as
all
well.
mix and match. So like I can play
You can mix.
version
You can
1
play. Yep.
versus version 2.
And you can also side them in and out. So since Bakugo, oh, they're in the card. I have the other characters in the card. So Bakugo 2, he drops air. He keeps fire and death, but he adds earth.
On the second.
Because he was more grounded in season 2, right? You know, he was more level-headed.
It was
He
less
wasn't-
about that.
Yeah, right. So because be careful.
I'm gonna say that on stream.
So because he gained Earth in his second form, you can still build red, red, black, fire and death, and add in the new cards under fire and death.
Is it the same one?
That's the loner one, yeah. So it's using the same characters, but I did add in some season 2 cards. Yeah. So the way you can tell the difference is the UA symbol. So the UA symbol for season 1 is white and black. For season 2, it's red and black.
This.
Yep.
The plot thickens.
So the more cards you have, of course, the more you can experiment, strategize with.
Oh, this is the same.
Yeah, those were all of the demo decks, like the small ones we played.
I'm trying to find
But yeah,
it.
these are the loner decks that are the bigger ones.
Oh, I thought this is. So it's only them two.
Yeah,
Two and
I haven't made more. I wish I could make more decks
Yeah, I know.
for the store. I don't know how Jason feels about giving up sleeves, or having another box, but I could definitely build more decks for the store. I have the cards to do so. I have tons of cards. And the good thing about this game is that budget builds are the way to go.
Budget builds.
So the way Jazzco works is they don't put a lot of emphasis in their highest rarity cards. They put more emphasis on their lower rarity cards because they want you to have more staples, more staples and less flashy cards. So mostly the rare cards are the stronger cards than the ultra rare cards. The ultra rare cards are kind of just like flashy finishers, but your rare and your uncommon cards are where the bulk of your deck is going to be.
Do you have one of your decks?
Yeah.
So that you can show me which one is rare, which one is like ultra rare.
Yeah.
Like how can you
Alright.
tell those things?
So
I forgot we were streaming.
it's okay.
Hey people, I hope you're liking this.
So
I'm getting texts like, oh, you're learning Pokemon. I'm like, come on, you're more lost than I am. No, No, it's my Hero Academia. Why am I texting? No, it's my Hero Academia. It's that's the anime that I was watching yesterday.
So at the bottom, you see where the C is? That's a common.
Oh, I was about to say, but yeah, copyright.
So this is a promo, and that's a
So-
rare.
oh.
So anything rare and higher is going to be foil.
Anything rare and higher. What?
And then you have
This is a promo.
what are called extra rare cards. Extra rare cards are any card that's in the game that's made into a foil. So you can get commons that are foil, uncommons that are foil. You can get rares and ultra rares that are foil, but they'll have a different art to them. So
So it's just different art.
yeah, well, it's kind of like a different border. So you see how
Yeah.
with the regular cards it has like that kind of like rock formation coming out. It loses that border sometimes with extra rare cards. because they're just foil versions of those cards to be extra special.
But it's the same power. It's the
Same
thing.
card, just slightly
You
different
want to have
border.
the prettier version? You want to have like fancy version?
Yeah, some people just want to foil out their decks, you know.
I was about to say like that's something that I would entirely do.
Okay, here's an ultra rare card. So you can start to see.
I like the foil like this.
They have a lot of really good foil ideas, especially with their newer cards, where they started to add kind of like a border or a frame to it. I actually have a season 2 card that's like that. So did I bring it with me though? Oh, there we go. Wrong deck.
Because you were also saying like, so there's gonna be a whole new release.
Yes, set 3 is coming out in September or
Or
somewhere
one
between
month
the end of August to the beginning of October. Somewhere between there. They haven't finalized the release date yet,
Okay.
but it is on the way. So let me see, where is that beautiful card that I traded for? If it's even here. Or am I looking at the wrong deck? I'm looking at the wrong deck. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I can show you the difference between an extra rare and a regular.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So here's an extra rare, here's a common.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you see how they look different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does, the extra rare do look prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have no border, sometimes they do, or sometimes they'll have like a nice like dotted pattern that kind of like emphasizes
Okay.
the art. Or for some cards, like even with this one, it has like lines going through it, like sort of like a line pattern.
Yeah.
You know, where you can see like it looks kind of like liquid
Yeah.
because it's Recovery Girl's Kiss, so they're kind of like simulating saliva like on the card.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So like they
Okay.
do things like that where they'll add in like extra art in the foil itself, which makes them really pretty.
And then, for example, let's say, what would be the value of this one compared to?
So this
This
would
one.
be 25 cents. This would be $30.
Ha!
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Anything that's an extra rare usually goes for $20 to $30 on the second
Oh,
hand
it
market.
jumps like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what you were saying. Like these, they were focusing on the more like the common cards, more like these playable cards than
Yes.
the ultra rare that nobody can find. Which makes sense because it's like if you cannot find it, then you have a person that always has a deep pockets. and they
Exactly.
become, well,
You know, they're not trying to cover the incident that happened with Ultra Pro and Konami, where you
Oh.
had to pay like $175 for one card and you had to have it in your deck, otherwise it wouldn't work. They want to avoid that. So what they want to do is they want to make more emphasis on commons, uncommons, and rares, where those are your strong cards that you can always get. But if you need something to go over the top and beat your opponent, then you go for a card like this, which is an ultra rare. So, you know, as you see with Detroit Smash, it's 0 on block, which makes it really good. There's are also 0 on block.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And as you see, the speed and damage of this one starts at 6.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a finisher. And then it just buffs itself from there by making itself stronger. And then the character makes it stronger. So those are like guaranteed finishers. But you don't have to have them. One of the other major cards in the game, which is one of the strongest cards in the game right now, is Back Alley Haymaker, which is a rare. And it's one of the strongest cards in the game right now. Any deck that's playing those elements wants to be playing that card.
Why is this like how does this work that it's so good?
Alright, so you see how it says EX, right?
Yeah.
So remember how your attack with Bakugo said discard 1 momentum, right? That's what you would discard momentum for. So that EX, you discard momentum to increase the speed of this attack by that number. So what does that say?
Discard momentum. Discard from this one.
Mm-hmm. So what does that
Two.
EX say? What is that
2.
number after? So that'd be +2 speed for each momentum you discard to your discard pile.
Oh, and stocks. Oh wow.
So once you activate that ability, you can
can do like a
choose
10.
as much as you want. Yep.
Wow.
And that's the cool thing about All Might, because this version of All Might, you can give an attack powerful X. So powerful is the same thing as EX, but it deals in damage.
Oh.
So for the number of cards in your hand, you can give an attack powerful X. The highest I've seen it was 10. One of the judges at Cycle Turtle, her name is Pippa, she has this deck, and she has literally got powerful 10 on an attack. So every time she discarded a momentum, it gained plus 10 attack. She was able to get up to 100 damage. So if you half blocked it, you died
I
automatically.
should stream a game of Giant Connect 4. Giant Connect 4.
Oh.
Stream that.
No. That sounds bastard.
So yeah, so that's why momentum is important, you know? So like you can do this cool things like this, you know, where you can give stuff really strong, you know, really strong attack and speed. Like even Detroit Smash, if you see, it has EX and powerful on it. So you can increase its speed and damage even further, and that's without foundations. That's just by discarding your momentum. And you can use each one of those because they count as an enhance.
Okay, yeah, so discard one momentum, and then you add 3 cards from my hand to my momentum,
Mm-hmm.
so it became 2 times bigger.
Yep.
And then, oh, that was powerful.
Yeah. So you can activate them in any order you want. You know,
That's interesting.
the game is really creative. The more cards that come out, the crazier it gets. You know, because of course you're getting more and more cards at your disposal
The
to
Shadow Scroll,
build
like-
more combos. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
right.
exactly
Oh,
what it is.
okay.
Yeah.
You know which one will work. Okay, good.
Yeah, so like I said, if you look at Back Alley Haymaker and you look at Detroit Smash, they're very similar, right?
Yeah.
But this is a rare, and that's an ultra rare. And this wins more games than this.
Really?
Yes, because it's easier to get. You see what I mean?
True.
You're guaranteed to get in a box 11 to 15 rares.
In a box.
Mm-hmm.
How many boosters are there?
There are 24 booster packs plus
Oh, wow.
2
So-
box toppers.
2 box toppers?
Mhm.
Oh.
Technically, you get 3 box toppers per box. There's a special clear one that's guaranteed extra rare card,
Oh.
and then you get two box toppers that are guaranteed promo cards that only come in those packs.
Okay.
And then everything else from there is free reign. So in a box, I've usually gotten 4 to 6 ultra rares or extra rares, and the rest will be rares.
Oh wow.
And the rares are where the power is. So that's, you know, for me that's exciting because it's like if I get more Back Alley Haymakers, I'm winning. You know,
Interesting.
like yes, I can win with Detroit Smash, you know, because it
Yeah.
is really strong, but I don't really need it. Plus, if you notice, it's a 2-check.
Yeah, that reduces you.
So you don't want to have a lot of them in your deck. Most of the stronger cards are like 1 to 2 checks on attack.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Drawback of it.
Yes. So if you check it, you know you're in trouble.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tap all your.
Yes. Oh yes, you would have to. So certain decks, because of their element, can do more. So with the good symbol, so this is the earth symbol, the mountain with the green. And the good symbol is the blue background with the white halo. Those like to build a lot of cards where they're just constantly building foundations. Earth can build foundations from the card pool automatically, from the discard pile, and from the top of your deck.
How many of these ones are there? Like, how many different ones? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot. So like,
I see mountain. I see
So there's
Halo,
11, technically 11 elements, plus a special element that counts as everything. So they have the infinity symbol,
Oh, come on.
which just means it can go on any deck.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah, that's a promo from set one.
Oh, so this one can go on any. Like
Mhm.
it's a Joker.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
so it can go into any deck. It doesn't matter. It counts as all elements.
How common is it to like be adding these type of cards?
Some people add them a lot. That card specifically, and most cards that have that symbol, only come in the Plus Ultra packs.
Wait, what?
So remember the Plus Ultra packs from the tournament kit that you took the pictures of?
Yes.
These cards only come in there.
Those the silver ones.
Yes. So you'll get cards like that. Let me see, where is the other one?
Let me actually bring that box so we can
Yeah.
talk about it later.
Let me see what else I have that has that symbol on it. Or is from a Plus Ultra. Alright, so when it comes to cards like that, so these two come in the Plus Ultra pack from set 1, which is Thieves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to ask you what's the difference between that one.
Yeah. So, but they also come in the Victory packs if you win a tournament. So
We have that?
Yep. So you see how it says Victory at the top?
Oh yeah.
That's how you know it came from the Victory pack.
These Victor packs? No.
No,
This is
those are
Judge pack.
Yeah. They're in there somewhere. They might be in the
Over
back.
rainbow.
Yeah. So when someone wins a tournament, they get a victory pack, and they have a chance of getting these cards that say victory on them. And those are the Plus Ultra packs for set 2. So these are this is set 1, set 2, and then this is a set 1 victory pack. You can tell because it says 1.0 on it.
So this one, like these type of cards,
Mhm.
you can get them on this
And
one,
both of them.
on both of them.
Mhm.
This is from the first series,
hmm
and these ones you get when you win the tournament.
So Plus Ultra packs are entry prizes. So like just for entering the tournament, you get a Plus Ultra pack.
Oh, you just get it.
Mhm.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay.
And the victory pack, one goes to the winner plus the extra packs from, the
The
prize
whatever.
pool. Yeah.
Okay, so, but then, oh, okay, this is so cool. If you just play, you get one of these.
Mhm. And
But then
these
you have a
both
chance.
come in there.
Okay, that is awesome.
And there's one card in there. So Plus
have one.
Ultra
How
goes
many are
for
these?
about $20 to $30 right now. Just the regular one that comes in this pack.
Oh wow.
Crow and Frog Takedown goes for about 10 to 15 right now. It always fluctuates because it's a really good card, but most people have a lot of them because they play tournaments. And then the victory ones you only get from playing in tournaments.
And then this one is
That's
the same
also,
as
yep,
this
so
one.
that's just set 2.
And this is also for just playing.
Yep, for just playing.
That's amazing.
And that's a box topper. So that's
So
what
yeah,
I was
so
talking
that's-
about.
Okay.
So you get one of these in each box.
Guaranteed.
Yes, that's guaranteed. So that's going to be on the top.
It's the
So-
same as this.
Yep.
So how many we get?
That's That's a $30 card right there.
Oh wow. So we get in one box.
So
we
you'll get
two
one of these,
One of this.
one of these in the clear pack, and then you'll get 2 quirk packs. The quirk packs are where you get promos from. So they'll be silver just like these, but it'll say quirk on it. And then there are special promos that are from different sets. So you can get certain characters like the adult heroes, like Fourth Kind or Gang Orca, like all those adult pro heroes in the show.
Yeah.
You can get them from those quirk packs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, this is one of those infinities.
Mhm.
It's like a power.
Yep.
Discard one momentum. So one of these. Attack. No, add one attack from your discard pile to your hand.
Mhm.
So from here.
Yep.
So
So
remove this from the game.
So
when
blue
I
cards
goes to the cemetery?
are action cards. So they're like instant cards in Magic. You play them from the hand,
Okay.
you check for them like you normally would,
Mhm.
and then you follow the effect from there.
Okay.
So those are they're also kind of like hand traps depending on the character. So for Eraserhead, he has he has a he has an action card that is actually a hand trap. So the card Erase, which is his ability. So for him, he has an enhanced ability where he can discard a card, and he gives the current attack -2 speed. Just for
the
discarding
card.
a card.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Or he can give his own attack +2 speed. And then afterward, you search for an erase from your discard pile and add it to your hand.
Oh, wow.
But if you discard erase, you automatically add it back to your hand, so you never
like
lose a
cycle
card.
it.
Yep. So you would
Nice.
never lose a card. So that's one of his tricks. And Eraserhead is definitely one of the top 5 characters in the game in the meta right now. Because he's just anti-meta. He's, I mean, he is like he is in the show. He's going to slow you down. He's going to cut off your abilities. He is control. So he can negate effects. He can turn off your character.
Where's the silver thingy?
So that is void.
Void.
So Eraserhead's elements are all, which is the orange circle with the arrows pointing in every direction. So all, death, and void. Those are his elements. Yep. So that's everything that I can think of right now. There are a couple more cards, but there are some other cards and mechanics that go along with things.
Yeah.
But that's what you're looking at. So as you saw how the game was played, it's pretty back and forth.
Yeah.
You're learning, you're pretty much just doing the enhanced, the stack back and forth after you play an attack, play some foundations, you build some certain cards, certain decks can play foundations in between attacks. And they have what's called a combo. So I don't have that deck on me because I actually just took it apart. But there are some cards that say combo in them.
Combo.
And combo means if the card you played before it matches the criteria, then you get an extra ability. So here's one of the cards that is a promo that you can get in the DLC box, DLC 1, which we have in store. So in its text it says combo kick. So if you played a kick beforehand, so let's say you played one kick here and you play that next. So it sees that you played a kick in the previous card slot in the card pool. Now you can activate the combo ability. So there are some cards that say combo foundation, or combo attack, or combo high block, which I think I have one in here. Yeah. So combo high block. So if the attack you played before had a high block on it, it gets the combo.
Wait, this is okay. So these are two different sets.
Yes, those are from 2 different decks.
This is from All Might.
Yes.
This plays with this. This is All Might, right?
Yep.
But how is he All Might?
So, see how, remember what I said about the elements?
Yeah.
So because All Might 1, I built it under the good symbol, every card in there can have a card in there from the good symbol.
Oh, so even if it's not All Might, I can still play. So for example, if I like
So usually characters that kind of interact with each other a lot have the same symbols. So
which makes sense for them.
Midoriya and All Might both have good, so you can use their cards with each other. See? And then Eraserhead has death, Bakugo has death.
So I could use.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, that opens your combo
Mhm.
possibilities a lot more. So then that's why. Okay, so this is All Might.
Mhm.
That's straightforward.
So that is in Aizawa. So Ida Tinya, the guy with the thrusters on his legs in the
Mhm.
show, he has void in his symbol. So I
Yes.
can use his attacks with
With Eraserhead.
Eraserhead because he has void.
So this is from your Eraserhead deck
Mm-hmm.
with this.
Yep.
Okay, that actually makes it simpler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have all the cards from just your character.
Exactly.
Which is really cool.
So that can kind of be like considered a team up, where you're getting an assist from another character.
That makes
Because the way this game works, you don't have to only play with that character. So if you want to, let's say because All Might and Midoriya both work together under the good symbol,
Yeah.
I could put Midoriya into my All Might deck, and it works. I can't
That's another
attack
card.
with it. Yeah, I can't attack with it because it has no attack and speed, but I can
it
block
pays.
with it and I can check with it. And then, let's say you're playing something where my All Might deck doesn't really work. I can swap them and make that the character of the deck. And then I can put All Might in the deck. And it still works because they're both under the good symbol. And they both use punch attacks. Because they work together. All Might train Midoriya. So
Yeah.
since Midoriya is trying so hard to be like All Might, all of his attacks are punches.
Yeah.
So they work with all of the attacks.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then you get other characters like Aizawa, who's more of a hand-to-hand combat martial artist specialist. So since he does a lot of martial arts, you can use kicks or punches or weapons.
It's her. So Hatsume.
So for Mei, she uses a lot of weapons
Okay.
because she uses gadgets, like how she did in the show. She's an inventor, right?
Yeah.
So she has a lot of weapons that she uses. So you can use with her weapons as well. So in season 2, we had Stain because he was in season 2's arc. So Stain and Mei,
Yeah,
you can put the cards together because they both have the all symbol, which also goes with Eraserhead, who has the all symbol, and All Might, who has the all symbol. So you can mix and match those cards to build combos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you do because you went to the Anime Expo and you were playing it, so you had like the booth, you were running.
Yes.
the booth.
So I was one of 11 judges
Oh,
at
wow.
Anime Expo. We were packed.
Really?
Like, we had tables like this. We had 40 seats available.
Okay, that's a lot.
We
That's
were
a
a
big
little,
space.
yes, we were a little short-handed because the CDC had regulations for Anime Expo to prevent COVID outbreak, So we lost some judges beforehand, but we thought it would be okay.
Yeah.
We were so packed all 4 days. We were running 2 tables of 4 per judge. It was insane, but everybody had fun.
That's good. That's good.
Learning the game was fairly simple for a lot of people because a lot of people were either Magic players or Yu-Gi-Oh players. And
you come from a trading card.
yeah, they came from other card games. Magic the Gathering was not there at Anime Expo because
Really?
there was only a 2-week notice for Anime Expo.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it.
Because they were 6
Everybody's
months
like
behind.
scrambling.
Yeah. So Magic pulled out. They were just like, we're not going to AX. It's not enough time for us to prepare. We have new decks coming out. We have new sets coming out.
Well, yeah, now they have sets every month. and
Yeah,
they're doing
so
it
they didn't have enough time to prepare, right? So they pulled out. So everybody who went there to play Magic didn't have Magic. So they were like, okay, let's try out One Piece.
Yeah.
Let's try out Vanguard. And then when they came over to My Hero, they were like, this is so much fun.
It
Because
is fun. Yeah.
it's simple. It's very straightforward. You don't overthink the game. It tells you exactly what you want it to do. So many people were just sitting down and they would play for an hour. I would do the demo with them. And, the same 2 demo decks that we had here that we were playing.
Yeah.
And after they got it, I'd be like, okay, you can play as long as you want. Now that you know the rules, if you have any questions, just ask me. And I would see them an hour later still playing, because they were like, this is fun. And they would come over and they were like, what can I buy? So we would sell them the starter deck, because
Okay.
it comes with the 2 full decks for Midoriya and Bakugo. So we were like, okay, you know, it comes with 2 starter decks and 1, the full 50 card decks. So
Okay.
that was something a lot of people were starting off with because they were learning the game. They're like, I want to stick with the same cards.
Yeah.
And then we had the DLCs. We had set 1, we had set 2 to, you know, help them out. Some people came back to build full decks. And they wanted to play full games at the tables, and we were like, okay, we will, you know. And some
Why
of our
not?
judges even were like, hey, you want to learn? I brought my decks with me. You know, let me teach you how to deck build. You know, let me teach you how to fine tune your deck and stuff like that. So it was a very eventful weekend. It was awesome. Like, but we had no time to ourselves because we were right at the front doors for the entertainment hall.
Yeah.
So it was Riot behind us, Aniplex to the right of them. We had Fate Stay Night across from us. Weiss Schwartz were adjacent from us, and then there was a cafe in front of us, but it was like an anime cafe where
The
they
main
made.
cafe.
Mhm. So people would, you know, they would run to, you know, Fate Stay Night, Aniplex, and they would see like the Studio Ghibli photo standout that they had, and then right after they'd see that and they take their picture, they turn around like, oh, there's a My Hero card game? What? I didn't know there was a My Hero card game.
Yeah, because I heard that from somebody. They're saying, they were like, oh yeah, so I was walking and I noticed there's a My Hero Academia card game. I was like, yes, my friend is running it.
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah, no, it was, like he was like, I wanted to play, but there was like so many people.
Yeah.
So he was like, you know, he's a little introvert.
Yeah.
So he was like, what is it about? And I have no idea I was gonna play. I'll tell you when I play it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's very, like I said, it's very simple to learn, and that's the good thing is the rule book does use images, and I used the rule book the whole weekend because mostly learning how to block was the hardest thing for people to grasp. You know, there's a lot of noise going on at AX, and
It's just that mechanic of getting used to like because with Magic it's like I cannot screw it. I need to mention all my attacks, right? If I don't
Exactly.
mention one, then I cannot do later.
Yeah.
But so now here's like, you know,
Yeah.
re-educating yourself to
to do it
oh, no,
one
yes, I
attack at a
have,
time.
So then I can do this one, then I pack it, and so do I save it? Do I do it all
Yep.
the time? Yeah,
Because
then,
it's a lot of hand management when you think about it. You know, that's what I said, using it as a video game as an example. When
Yeah.
you're trying to build your combo, as you saw, you know, it was like, okay, this is going to get harder and harder to do as I move forward.
it reminded me of Final Fantasy VII. You know, when you're like, you choose your opponent and you attack with every single character, like a different attack. So when you were explaining to me, I was like, oh, this reminds me when I was playing Final Fantasy VII. You know, like, okay, one attack per character.
Yeah.
Resolves, then the next
Exactly.
one, then you know the other one, and they can defend or whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I like the, you know what, I did like how they solved the, like the cost type
Yeah.
of thing. Because yeah, it just, it's like, well, they just flip it, that's it. There's
Yeah.
no more.
And that's the cool thing about this game, even with Jazzco Games as an example, this is their format for all their games.
Really?
So they have Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Evil Dead.
Oh, they do Street Fighter?
Yes. Tekken.
Evil Dead?
Yes. They have an Evil Dead card game. Soul Calibur. They mostly focus on fighting games, but they do, you know, franchise IPs like Evil Dead, Mega Man.
They're not the
etc.
ones from Dragon Ball?
They're not touching Dragon Ball. Because, you know, Dragon Ball already has Bandai for the most part. So when it comes to other things like My Hero as an example, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you know, Soul Calibur, Tekken, King of Fighters.
Tekken?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
You can mix those games together.
Really?
Yes. So the reason why it's called Universes is because it's a universal fighting game.
Okay.
So it's multiverse. So it used to be called the Universal Fighting System, which is what it was called in the 90s and early 2000s. So they just rebranded because they're under new ownership. So instead of it being this really long name, they shortened it to Universes because they are a universal fighting card game in the US, and they just now expanded to the UK. So it was the US
So
part.
Universal?
Yeah, or you know, maybe it might go back to the Universal Fighting System. Who knows? But that's why it's called universes, because you can actually mix and match those decks.
So you're saying I could have a Street Fighter character here, well, card.
Yeah, because
As
they
long
have
as they
as
have
long as they
the-
have the same elements. So
I kind of want
I
to do it
think-
just to do it.
So I think Scorpion was Fire, Death, and
From Mortal
something.
Kombat.
Yeah. So you could mix all their games together to make a deck, or you could just focus on that one IP. You know, you could have Scorpion versus Kin, for example. You know, where I'm playing Kin and you're playing Scorpion, and we could fight it out because they use the same principles. The same format is on the game.
What about tournament league?
Tournament legal, right now, My Hero is separate. But that's because it's the newest game. It doesn't have a lot of, it doesn't have a lot of cards
Yeah.
to it like the other games. So right now, My Hero can only play with My Hero officially.
Yeah.
But you can have a Universes tournament where you can just do a free-for-all if you want to. There are Universes players in this area. I've met one player that has an Evil Dead deck and a couple Soul Calibur decks. And I think his friend has Tekken and Street Fighter. Yeah, and they play against each other all the time, and they play against each other with My Hero as well. So one of them will have a My Hero deck, another one will be using a Soul Calibur deck, and they play it out.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, so the same elements, almost the same design for every IP. My Hero has its own kind of anime-looking aesthetic because it's an anime, but for Street Fighter, you're going to see the same bracket for the elements. You're going to see the same, card size, life, difficulty
So
check.
here I can only draw 5 at a time.
Yes.
Ways.
So one thing about the characters is the lower the hand size, the higher the health.
Oh, because I have so then I have 19.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
this
you're
is
getting
not fixed.
7 cards a turn, pretty much, but you have 19 health because you're drawing more cards, right? You're getting more resources. So if you have more health, you're drawing less resources, and that's how they kind of balance it out. So like if you think about season 1 of the show, Nomu, I believe Nomu has a 5-card hand size and has 35 health. Yeah. And he hits like the truck because remember he was made to go against All Might. So this is All Might version 1, which is pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
And then you have you have another version here of All Might?
Yes.
Or is it the same?
So that is All Might 3. So as you see, 6-card hand size, 30 health.
Oh wow.
But since it's All Might, he hits hard regardless. So it's kind of built into his character. There are 4 versions of All Might officially right now. The 4th one being the small one, where he's in his regular form and he coughs up blood and all that stuff, and he's wearing a white shirt. So we call him Small Might. But All Might True Form is the 4th version, and he can transform into any All Might that is out. That's one of his abilities.
Is there any card that is banned right now? Like
Right now there is 1 card that is banned, and that card is Coordinated Effort.
they overdid it? It's like too powerful? What
Yeah.
happened?
So in set 1, Kirishima was a very powerful card. Not because he was winning games really easily, but because he had kind of no limit. So with Kirishima, his attacks build face down into his stage to be used as foundations. Then he can add a foundation from his stage that's face down to his hand. So you could loop the same attack
Wow.
until you won. And Coordinated Effort was one of his foundations. So it was him and I think Bakugo in the card. And you could pretty much do that effect as a foundation. And that made it just way too powerful because his character effect, he could do that twice per turn. Then his attacks, he could do it. Then he had a foundation that could do it. So it was just pretty much just, I put
One
the
after
same attack
another.
until you die,
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, they weren't going to do anything about the card, but then it kind of hit the glow up bulb effect or the Jace the Mind Sculptor effect where 90% of people were playing him and only him, so they had to hit both cards. So they had to change his effect on his season 1 card. So his twice per turn effect is now a once per turn effect. And they banned the foundation.
That combo it.
Yeah, that comboed with it. So that it was good for the game because everybody was playing Kirishima or siding him in,
Yeah.
and no one was experimenting with other things.
Yeah, that always happens. That's what I asked
Mhm.
because I figured, I mean, you issue cards. It's a
Yeah.
new game. You
Yeah.
never know how people are.
Yeah,
gonna,
you never know what people are going to figure out and what they're going to put
Yeah.
together and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can only test so much internally.
Yeah, no.
When it comes to the masses, they always find something to combo it with something else, and it
Yeah.
just got out of hand. Where he was mostly winning games because you couldn't stop him. In the game, there is a way to stop people from having too many foundations.
Okay.
It's called deadlock. So if you have 11 or more foundations, you can use deadlock enhances. I might have one. There we go. That one.
Oh, okay.
So it'll say
Pull no punch.
deadlock enhance. Deadlock means your opponent has 11 or more foundations. They have way too many cards on the field. This is how they're trying to counter somebody just having too many resources. So usually deadlock enhances have really powerful effects that can really win games to punish your opponent for having too many cards in their stage. Because if you have too many cards in your stage area, I mean, you can block everything. You can pay for everything.
Everything, yeah.
If you want to play 11 attacks, you can because you have the foundations to pay for everything. So to counter that, they came up with deadlock enhance. And at the time, people weren't playing deadlock enhance abilities to try to counter Kirishima, mostly just because they didn't want to. You can't force a community to do something.
Yeah.
So they had to take action against the card that was being played the most.
I think that's great because also you don't want to end up with having to build a deck to oppose another specific deck.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I want to play my deck.
if you're only building to go up against one deck, then
Yeah, to defend it's not even. Yeah.
And it really comes down to, I don't want to say anything offensive, but it comes
Yeah.
down to deck building. If you know that this is the most powerful deck in the game, why not build something to stop it?
Yeah.
There are cards that stop it. There are cards that shut off Kirishima, like Eraserhead. Eraserhead completely just kills Kirishima and any other deck that goes with
Goes
it.
here, right?
Yes, because he turns off your abilities. He literally, if you read his response, he can turn off your character's abilities. So it's like with Eraserhead, he's the perfect answer to really powerful decks. But since people want to play what they want to play, and people don't like their freedom being taken away, which is understandable. Instead of going with the anti-route to the problem, they decided to join the problem, and if I can't beat it, then I'll join.
I'll just beat one more.
Yeah, I'll just join the problem instead of building something that counters the problem and winning tournaments. Yeah, that's what I used to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! If everybody was playing, let's say, light decks like Light Sworn or Blue Eyes, I would build a deck that destroys light monsters or prevents them from being special summoned. It's called anti-meta for a reason. You're going against the meta. So that's how I would win tournaments when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Was looking at what's most popular and going against it. And you can do that in this game too, which is really fun.
Nice. And then this one, Eraserhead, is the one that you're still building it. You're already.
It's pretty much built. I don't need to tweak it anymore. It's pretty powerful for what it is. We have regionals coming up in September in Pasadena.
Okay.
And if I was playing that tournament, I would take my Eraserhead deck. I think it's my strongest deck. It slows down everything. It's very annoying. It's fun for me and not fun for my opponents. But it's a great deck, and I would definitely take it if I was playing at regionals. If I wasn't judging.
This is from Eraserhead.
Mhm.
This is from All Might.
Yeah, that's from
That's
the
from-
tutorial. Yeah.
This is tutorial too.
Mhm.
What is this?
So
one?
that's from Tokoyami.
Oh.
So Tokoyami is considered a top tier
right?
deck. Yeah. So Tokoyami is considered a top tier deck. He is what's considered an OTK deck, a one-turn kill.
Okay.
So the cool
is from
thing,
this one, right? Yeah.
yes. So the cool thing about Tokoyami version 1 is that when you look at his support cards, And this is probably going to blow your mind once you learn how this works. So what Tokoyami does is he searches for his action card. So you can once per turn them sideways, discard the top 10 cards of your deck to his discard pile, and if you see one of these action cards in your discard pile, you add it to your hand.
Oh wow.
So this starts this really cool combo chain with him that use these two cards specifically. So Crow and Frog Takedown, its first enhance says that this card no longer counts towards progressive difficulty.
Oh.
So it doesn't
go
count.
here. Yeah.
It just doesn't count. So you don't count it. So it goes directly to the 0 slot. It doesn't count ever again.
Oh wow.
Dark Shadow Ruin makes it so that action cards don't count towards progressive difficulty.
Action cards like this one.
Yep. So those don't count towards progressive difficulty. So you pretty much get to play free cards.
Oh wow.
When you play Summon Dark Shadow, it has an ability where you commit your character if it's not committed already, and your next check gets +3 to its number.
Oh.
So that 5 becomes an 8, that 3 becomes a 6.
Oh wow.
And it gives all of your attacks +1 speed, +1 damage, and that stacks. So the more of those cards you have in your card pool, each attack just gets a free +speed and +damage.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's how he plays, where you're going for the kill, pretty much your opening hand. So your first turn, you play all your foundations. Second turn, if you draw into your attacks and your action cards, you pretty much win. If you draw enough of them, you know. Then there are different ways to draw more, as you saw with Bakugo, right? Discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, right?
Yeah.
He's fire. So you can put those draw cards into Tokoyami.
True, true.
So he's really powerful. Like, he's one of my favorite decks. When I first started playing, he was like the deck that got me into the game.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't because it won and it was top tier. It was because I was able to beat the store manager where I learned how to play the game. That was the first deck that I actually beat him with because he played Eraserhead. And I was like, I beat you. I finally did it with his girlfriend's deck, ironically, with his girlfriend's deck. And I was like, okay, I really like this game now. It took me 2 weeks to beat that guy. I bought a box, I bought cards, I built my own decks, I couldn't beat him. And I was like, you know what, maybe I need to try something else. He was like, you want to try one of my girlfriend's decks? I tried her Tokoyami deck and beat him, and I was like, you know what, I like this. And not because I beat you, but because I was doing cool things, you know? I was discarding cards, I was searching for the action card and adding it to my hand, like a hand trap. I was, you know, playing it and giving my attacks +speed and damage, which made them harder to block and dealt more damage. I was getting pluses on my
Hey,
chest.
Sean. Earthquake.
It was just fun to play, and it was something different. It wasn't the same, you know, it wasn't the same play a card, see what happens. It was like, I play a card, this is going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You know, can you even stop it? And when you look at his attacks, they're all high attacks,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any high blocks, you're taking the damage.
Yeah. Or spending a lot
Mm-hmm.
to block it.
So it's either you're taking half damage or no damage. And that's one thing I liked about him a lot, because it was easier for me to play where I didn't have to worry about my opponent. If they don't draw any high blocks, which actually does happen quite often, some people will only put in maybe 8 or 9 high blocks into their deck
Okay.
because they want the attack to do, you know, really good things for their offense, and they don't think about their defense. So, you know, a couple of my friends, they drew no high blocks, and it was like, oh, you can't block anything? Attack, 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 I win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. You're right. You have to have a good amount.
Yeah. If you don't have the blocks, you can't stop it.
True.
Yeah. So that's why I fell in love with that. Like, mine is a better version of her deck, but you know, that's because she only plays casually. I started playing competitively, so I went all out for mine, but I fell in love with it. You know, and that was what I took to my locals once I started playing.
You like You would say one box is good to get, like as I
You
did,
can
I started a box.
you can build
Oh,
a
with one
bunch
box you
of
can
decks
build.
off one box. To be honest, all the characters are uncommon cards.
Really?
So you can get 11 to 17 characters in one box.
Wow.
And in the first box, there's 33 characters
That's a total amount of
Mhm.
characters
in the first box.
in the first box.
Minus the promos, minus the DLC. If you just buy the box itself, you're getting 11 to 17 characters, guaranteed. So you can build literally a deck off of just one box. You can just like open a box, all
Build a whole
24
one
packs,
deck.
and just be like, oh, I can build a deck. And that's how they do. That's why they focus on the commons and uncommons and rares, because they want you to be able to build right out the box.
That is cool. That is
And you can draft with those boxes too. Their sneak peeks are drafts. So that's why they do that as well. Because it's easier to build, if you're just opening a box, opening some packs. You can start to see like, oh, this is a fire card. I'm gonna put all the fire cards together. Oh, I pulled a Tokoyami. Oh, I have all these fire cards. Let me just keep opening packs, put all these fire cards to the side. Oh, I opened Chaos, because this symbol is Chaos at the top. Oh man, look at all these Chaos cards I'm opening. Oh, I like these effects. You can start to see where your routes go, where you have 3 elements to choose from, and every card has 3 elements on them. So you have a lot of options when it comes to building decks, and it shows. It really shows. Sometimes I get so torn building a deck because I have so many different options, where I'm just like, which one do I choose? Or I could put them all in the deck, and build a 200 card deck if I wanted to, but I don't feel like making something that big. So, it's like, which one do I want to focus on? A good example is with Tokoyami himself, actually. His Chaos build is very powerful because you're getting more plus checks. So you're getting, you see how these are very high difficulty, right?
Yeah.
Most of his attacks are 5s. So when you're looking at, plus 6, plus
Yeah.
7, plus 8, you need these Summon Dark Shadows, right? Because they're giving you plus 3 to your next check. Well, in Chaos focuses on increasing your check. So it'll give you plus 1, plus 2 on your next check. Or if you're blocking, it'll give your check plus 1, plus 2 type of thing. So you can stack those to get like plus 5 on your next check, which makes it playing an 8.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, easier.
Yeah, I check over a 5, it gets plus 5. Oh, that's guaranteed check. It's automatically going to clear. I don't have to worry about checking a 3 because it's going to be a 6.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a 9, or a 7, depending on what I have. So the Chaos version of him is very powerful as well. You get to play more attacks, more cards. Whereas the Fire one, you're trying to, draw and discard to get your Summon Dark Shadows as fast as possible. But you're also increasing your damage on your attacks. You're making your attacks way stronger and hit harder, and they're much faster. So it's kind of like, do you want to go for power or do you want to go for consistency type of thing? And then when you're sitting there thinking about it, it's like, what do I want to go for? Well,
Yeah.
how can, I can build one of each, but which one do I feel comfortable with? So you have to play them and test them,
True. Yeah.
And you get both options right out of one box.
Nice. That is cool.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so set 1 was 150 cards, I believe. It says it actually on the cards. 180 cards was set 1. Set 2 was
Not that many.
117 cards.
It's not that many.
Yeah.
Which is good. It increases your chance of getting something good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do we know how many they're going to be for the third one, the third set?
They haven't announced. They just started preview season for set 3. So they're previewing Eraserhead's starter deck that he's getting in season 3. So you'll be able to just buy a deck of him
That is
pre-made.
That's cool. That's how popular these.
Oh,
they
I
pretty
mean,
much
people
became.
love Aizawa. So there's going to be him and Endeavor as the 2 starter decks that are coming out.
Okay.
So we have the Bakugo Midoriya starter deck that was from set 1, which was 1 box with 2 decks in it. And then they're going to print 2 separate starters, so it won't be them together, it'll be them separate. So if you just want Eraserhead or if you just want Endeavor,
Then you can just get it.
Mhm.
That's cool.
And it's going to be way less. So the rival deck for set one was $30 because it was two 50-card decks in one box. The starters will be, I think, $18 to $20.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah, and they come with their own special cards that are only in the starter deck.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yep. So yeah, they're like that. There's so many options, and the game is so fun that it's having the three elements really makes you choose because you have to think about how do you want to play the deck.
Yeah.
You know, where you could play the same deck as someone else but play it differently.
Yeah.
You know, you could have the same character, but you're both playing them on either the same element or different elements, and they both play differently.
Yeah.
Like my deck plays nothing like the judge at Cycle Turtle, Pippa. Even though they're built the same way, and she inspired me to build it, but mine doesn't play like hers because I wanted to play mine differently. You know, I'm not her.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
So mine has different attacks, it has different combos, it has different players, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to hit you for 20 to 30 damage, but I'm not trying to hit you for 100 damage like she does. You know, because I want more consistency. So, over the, you know, giant smash attacks that she does.
Nice.
So yeah.
It was super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, My Hero is a very fun game. And I think the more people play it, the more they fall in love with it. My personal friends have started playing it. They did the demo like I did with you. And then I helped them build a deck afterward with just the extra cards that I have. And now they're ready, they're going to tournaments. You know, they're like, I love this game. This game is awesome. Like,
Nice.
yeah, so like they've gotten competitive and they've, you know, branched out and they're playing tournament all because they just played it once. And it's actually made them better players in their other games, surprisingly. So my best friend, Robert, he's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For years.
Okay.
And he's gone to nationals. He's, you know, won regionals and stuff over the years. He's been playing the same deck for almost 13 years now, I think, 13, 14 years. And he still wins with it. But when he played My Hero, he saw how the structure for deck building was different. And he applied that to Yu-Gi-Oh! In a sense. And it actually made his deck better. To where he was actually able to play better. And he was able to win more tournaments with less issues. He's not even worried about the meta anymore because the way he built his deck, like how he built his My Hero deck, has answers for everything.
Gotcha.
And it's even improved his Magic playing as well.
You have to choose a hero.
Me.
No.
You said choose a hero. I choose the hero.
No, for My Hero Academia. Now you have to watch it.
Or just put it on the TV.
Just to look at it. Every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Come watch My Hero Academia. Emerald Nights. Some loop, no sound.
Yeah. I just remembered I have the versions of the characters. So this is Shoto 1, and this is Shoto 2.
Oh.
Just remember that. So as you see, the difference between version 1 and version 2, that was how he was in season 1, where he was wearing his, you know, his starter outfit that he made himself. And then in set 2, since it was during the festival, it was after the festival, during and after, he's wearing his second upgraded costume. So as you can see, he dropped Chaos and gained Order.
Oh, yeah.
Because in season 2, he started to adapt his fire side, right? So he started to balance out his powers.
Okay.
So that reflects in his card. Whereas in set 1, he was chaotic. He didn't want to use his fire side at all. He didn't care about it. He didn't want anything to do with his father. So he was chaotic in his mental state. But he still has the powers of fire and water, because fire and ice. Whereas in season 2, he learned to come to terms with that and his father, and he gained order. So he still has fire and water, but now he gained order.
That is cool.
Yeah. So they literally reflect. So 7 card hand size, 6 card hand size. 20 health, 27 health. Yep.
And you use this one mostly.
Right now I'm testing out some things with this deck. I think he has really good effects. but I'm torn on there's just too many options. Like remember how I was saying, just too many options. When it came down to fire and water, there are so many options because there's so many characters and so many attacks, so many foundations that I haven't decided on anything yet. So I'm just experimenting.
Cool.
You know, plus, it kind of relates to my zodiac sign because I'm fire and water myself because I'm born on the cusp, and he has that in his elements. So since he has fire and water in his elements,
You feel related?
yeah, you know, it's like something that I can, you know, have as a reflection of myself. So
Yeah.
I'm torn about who to play and how to play them.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then they also printed his father in set 2.
Oh,
So there's Endeavor. I'm pretty sure the Endeavor for the starter deck will be different. It might be the version 2 Endeavor, since he'll have his own attacks and foundations.
okay.
But yeah, that Endeavor was from just his first entrance. And if you notice, because they're both related, they kind of have similar abilities. So if you read his Enhance and you read Shoto 1's Enhance, they're kind of the same.
Yeah. 1 damage for every. This one 2 range. This one 6 cards on the discard pile.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
So you can see how like they keep that theme of characters that are related stay similar to each other.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So that way you can mix and match cards. So if I wanted to, I could put Endeavor as the main character of this deck because it's still based on fire and they still have kind of the same effects. And there is a side deck for this game. It's 15 cards just like any other side for most games. The only difference is when it comes to characters, you can side out the characters that are actually in the deck itself.
Okay.
So if I wanted to, let's say I was playing you with Shoto 1, right? In my character slot. And then I'm like, you know what? You're not using a lot of effects that I need to turn off. So from the deck, I can just swap it and just be like,
Mid-game?
okay. Mid-round.
Mid-round.
Yeah. So let's say I lose round 1, right? We're going to round 2. I can swap it out from inside the deck. That's an actual ruling.
How many rounds?
It's best out of 3.
Oh. So yeah, you have that second chance.
Yep. Or I could put this one in the deck or even in the side deck and swap it out. So I could use technically all 3 of those cards in one deck and you would never know who you're going up against round 2.
That is cool.
Okay. Yeah. That's why the elements are really fun to play around with. Because you could just build like everyone with fire.
Yeah.
And
then you
just
throw everything.
yeah, and then you could be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna, you know, let me see, who else was fire? Dabi in season 2 was fire.
Okay.
So I could put Dabi as the character, put him in the deck, and swap out. I could put in Shigaraki. Shigaraki was fire, the villain from season 1, from the leader of the League of Villains. He has fire, so I could put him in there. Trying to think who else has fire. Present Mike has fire, one of the adult heroes. I could throw him in there. You know, whoever has fire, I could put them all in one deck and just do that. And I would always have 6 checks, and I would always have 0 blocks on mid, so I could path block everything. You know, and it just depends on how I would want to play somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, were there any more questions that you could think of?
I mean,
or anything from
not
chat?
right now, but I think like, yeah, I mean, it is straightforward until you start building your decks and you're like, wait, hold on, what about this?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
But I think that's with any game.
Yeah, with any game, once your brain starts to activate and you see a combo,
Then you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think it's not easy in a bad way, but it's like it is kind of straightforward. And it is cool. I like it.
Yeah, when you're dealing with just set 1, it's easier because you know all the cards, right? You know, you bought maybe 2-3 boxes or open packs, and you're like, okay, I know what everything is. I can build,
Yeah.
Maybe I might want to spend some money to get that ultra rare card, or maybe I want to get some, additional rares or something, or maybe, get more promo cards or something.
Yeah.
And then set 2 comes out, and it's like,
Well.
well, I already have a deck that I like, right? It's like, I already like this deck. I'm already used to it. And then you see something that's like, ooh, that's a better version of this one card. And then you start thinking, and you're like, well, what else is better? So then you start mixing in some stuff from set 2. And of course, as the game gets bigger, it's going to, expand.
Yeah.
And the good thing about this game is that older cards are seeing more play as the game goes on, because everybody needs 0 difficulty cards.
Yeah.
Everybody needs those because it helps you just play more cards. But then at the same time, it's like, I might need Recovery Girl's Kiss because of characters that gain life. So like Toga. Toga in set 2, she steals blood from characters and transforms into them, right? Well, she has life in her symbol. Life gains life like any other card game, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're looking at Toga, you're like, man, I need to gain life, or I need something with life in it. Oh man, set 1, Midoriya had life in his cards. Recovery Girl's Kiss is a Midoriya card from his full deck. So it's like you would go back to set 1 and you'd be like, oh, this is a 0 difficulty card, right? I can gain life off this. This helps out my strategy. So you start to see things from set 1 become way more useful as the game goes on, because there's stuff that can combo with it or stuff that needs it. Which makes deck building a lot more fun for this game, whereas in with most games, when new sets come out, old cards become irrelevant, where it's like, it's like, oh, I don't need that, or they reprinted it as this, and you don't really need it, or you forget about it, that it exists. With this game, it's like, I have all these cards at my disposal. Like right now, a friend of mine built a deck that had 20 0 difficulty cards in it, and he could just spam 5. Think about that. It's like 5.
Yeah, you can just everything.
You could do 5 0 difficulty cards and just build all those foundations at once, because you're just only checking for what you're checking for. So that's technically 6 right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no limit to how many you can play, just how many cards you have in your hand. And he wins games with this budget deck now, because he's like, I'm building foundations off playing zeros, and then I have more than enough foundations to play
you can always
5 and
everything.
6 attacks.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And when you look at the really powerful attacks like Detroit Smash, that's a 6 difficulty attack.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at having multiple foundations, it's like, well, I could play that 6 difficulty attack, here, because I have 15 foundations in my stage, so this is easy,
True.
And it just makes things a lot easier to play. So the more the game goes on, the more stuff gets seen. And then you start to notice certain things combo with things. Like with this deck that I'm building right now, I had an epiphany where I saw that there were ranged attacks that also said Fury on them. So I started looking at that, and I was like, there's a pattern here, like that climbing, that following the rabbit hole type of thing, like I was talking about before. I noticed that a lot of Bakugo's attacks from season 2 had Fury and ranged. Okay. And then a lot of Shoto's attacks all have range in them, and he focuses on range. But I was like, so if he focuses on ranged attacks and he's under fire, I could use Fury attacks as well, as long as they say ranged in them. And Bakugo has really powerful attacks in set 2 because he was really powerful in the festival. He won that festival out of brute strength alone. So he has upgrades to his set 1 cards, and that honestly opened my eyes to a lot of things, where I started to notice there's a pattern here. And Shoto has ranged attacks, and he had a Fury range attack in set 2. And I was like, there's a connection here that I'm not seeing. So I sat there in front of my cards for 2 days, just staring at them. And I'm like, what am I not seeing? And then I saw it. This was the card that set it off. Half-Hot Ignition has an ability. So this is new to set 2, where it has that element next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means your character has to have that element in the character card to use that ability. So for Shoto, since he has fire and water,
He has a fire,
yeah, so you can
He
use
can do both.
both of these in hand.
but not on Endeavor. You
Yeah,
cannot use a
but
separate
Endeavor
one.
can't, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so if this is important, so that water effect says even if it's blocked, it still does 1 damage, which means attacks like this are guaranteed momentum.
Yeah.
They're unblockable.
Yeah,
You're just-
exactly,
You're
you're
just going
right,
to take
you're
the
right.
damage regardless, right? So that goes into your momentum. Well, in season 2, Bakugo has a lot of attacks that say powerful on them.
What is that?
Powerful was you discard a momentum and you get plus damage.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if this gives you guaranteed momentum because it can't be blocked, but this gets stronger with powerful and they both have ranged, I could use them with Shoto 1. Because Shoto Todoroki 1 gets plus damage for each ranged attack in your discard
Discard
pile.
pile.
Right? So for every 2
These
ranged
are
attacks,
two
you get
ranged,
1.
Yeah.
And you can have 4 cards of each. So I started to see that pattern where I was like, these kind of combo with each other. You know, I can get plus damage from him, they can get plus damage from themselves. This goes into the momentum automatically at the end of the turn. So the only thing I was having an issue with was finding a finisher. And then I realized I didn't need a finisher because powerful is so strong, plus the damage buff from this, that I was getting up to 18 damage in an attack.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's, for some of it will be the whole, the whole
Mhm.
life.
Yeah, right? So
Eraser
for
for
Eraserhead,
some,
that's
yeah.
pretty much his whole life tool, you know, and for Tokoyami and other 20 life, that's pretty much
Even
their
Shoto.
whole life. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, so the only card that I was considering taking out was Massive Flash Freeze,
Mm-hmm.
because I figured out a combo before I came, which was if I take out that and I put in this card, instant explosive release. So as long as my first attack dealt damage, when this card is resolved, so after damage calculation, it automatically goes to momentum. This card almost can't be blocked, right?
Yeah.
And it's a Fury. So since this can do damage, even if it's blocked, this one activates no matter what. And then it sets up my next attack to get plus 3 damage.
Oh, because this deal damage on
Mhm.
the first attack, so it just goes directly even if it's blocked.
Mm-hmm. So it just instantly goes to the momentum, which activates powerful. Because then I can use my powerful attacks the same turn. I don't have to wait for my next turn.
And you would just run this one.
Yep. Because that goes straight to momentum after it resolves, after damage calculation and blocks. So after it's blocked or not blocked, bam, it goes to momentum. It comes out of the card slot, which means this would still be in the first slot. Now I can play another card. And I can play one of these 2 cards that have powerful on them in the +1 slot, and I have momentum automatically.
You can activate it right away.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I was telling you before, where some cards have like automatic use for momentum, where they just
It's like
go
a
there.
second tier of difficulty, and
Mhm.
which is good. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I still have to get these 4 things.
Yes.
Because you also have to know your card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So once you start to see things, you know, like the way I was thinking was, let me build for my next attack. You know.
Mhm.
So like with this one, where it's kind of like the attack that you played in your deck, where it says if your next attack is high
Oh,
or
yeah.
mid, it does this or that. So this one, if your next attack is high, the top card on your deck goes straight into momentum.
Yeah.
and then this is a high attack. So, depending on which one I start with, if this is my second card, it's automatically going into my. There's a card going
Either
into my
way.
momentum. Either way. Or both cards are going into my momentum.
Because then it could be this one and this one.
So that's kind of how I got stuck with the deck building aspect, where you see like it's like there are a lot of options. There are a lot more cards now, but
Yeah.
when you look at it, it's like I could go 60 cards if I wanted to. I could go 80 cards and just put them all in and just see what
Yeah, just see
happens.
what happens.
You know, or I could slim it down and go for consistency for like a 50, 60 card.
How many we play right now? How many? Was 50 maybe?
With the
Yeah.
demos, those are like 30.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, we ran out of some point. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, 60 is plentiful.
Yeah, so 50 is the minimum for building a deck. It used to be 60, but they lowered it to 50 for my hero. Just to make it more consistent, because Yu-Gi-Oh's 40, Magic is 60. So it's like, 50 is a kind of a good range for our ratios on attacks versus non-attacks. So like, my Eraserhead deck only has 14 attacks in it.
14.
Which for most people, they would see that as really low. They'd be like, that's really low. Like you could lose all of your attacks pretty much just from checking them. But I have way more foundations than I have attacks. So I'm
Help
always
you.
building. And then when I draw into those attacks, I'm just continuing to attack. Because I already have enough foundations to play everything.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like what I was talking about with the deck building, where like it just got complicated because
Yeah.
I saw so many different things. It was just like once I saw like, oh okay, there are fury and ranged attacks. I could mix Bakugo and Todoroki together and get a stronger deck that no one's playing because they're not thinking about this.
Yeah.
Where I'm looking at the cards and I'm going, how can I put these together? There's something here, I don't see it, but I know it's there. And then eventually it clicks. So then looking at Shoto 2, his second version cares about ranged attacks as well. So his second character card gives ranged attacks certain buffs, where it can give them +2 speed, +2 damage. Or stun, which stun means that you just force your opponent to tap 2 cards. So he can give these cards these buffs as long as they're
about
ranged.
stun?
So stun is your opponent taps cards. So remember how Midoriya had that one attack where it said for each punch in my card pool, my opponent committed 1 card?
Yeah.
Stun just does that automatically.
Okay.
Stun is like I give my card
So
stun.
your range, so let's say this was range.
Yep. Which it is.
Attack against 2 stun. So this one has a powerful,
Yep.
and then on top of that, I
It
make
has-
you flip
yep.
2.
You would have to you'd have to tap 2 cards.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, you see? So it's like there's so many options you could go with, but when you start to see it like that, it's like, oh, well, these cards are powerful on their own. If I add them to him, they get stronger.
Yeah.
It now gives you a strategy.
And this is originally a shadow one?
That's a Bakugo card.
Oh.
I have the characters in the card. I can run and get them really quick so you can see. Because the difference between Bakugo 1 and 2 is actually kind of significant. They kind of play differently, but not really. But it actually does tie into that. Let me get it.
Okay. Check. I didn't even check if there's anybody asking us in the chat. Sorry, folks, if you've been asking questions. I'm sorry I didn't open the chat.
So,
I just realized I didn't open the chat to see if anybody was asking us questions.
yeah, if
Sorry if anybody asked
if
anything.
anybody
I-
has questions,
No,
please post them,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and I will answer
I was
them.
having a little bit too much fun.
It's okay.
Let me get some.
All right. Please. Thank you.
Today we're getting Ralph's sponsor. I didn't even know Ralph's had a brand.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully this is. I like Ralph's, but
Yeah. So this is Bakugo version 2.
oh, okay.
So like I said before, he dropped air because he's no longer aerial. He's not trying to fly as much. He's not trying to be in the
This is the
sky as
second.
much. hmm He's more grounded, so he gains earth.
He lost air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's still dead on fire.
Yep.
You had like 50 of them. So
Yeah, that was from Anime Expo when we were giving out the characters for free.
Aww.
So I kept the extra ones so I could build new players' decks if they didn't have cards. And this is Midoriya version 2. So you can see the difference.
Oh yeah, second.
So as you see, they both gained earth in their element because they're more grounded.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense. But
So-
what did he lose?
So he lost order.
Order. Okay.
So he still has good and life, but he lost order and gained earth.
Okay.
So
I kind of like that. I guess.
every version
Every
of them
version,
evolves
something
like they
changes.
do in
I
the
think
show.
that's cool. Yeah.
Exactly. So with Bakugo, instead of destroying a foundation and giving an attack just +2 damage, he now destroys a foundation, he gives his attack +2 speed, and he increases their powerful rating.
Okay.
So since he's increasing the power rating by 2, he would give this attack +2 speed for destroying a foundation, and it would be +3 power.
6, 8.
So that would be 3. That would be 3 power per momentum discarded.
Oh wow.
So that would, if discarding 1 momentum would make that an 8 damage. So it would be like 2 speed, 8 damage.
Oh yeah.
So it would be 6, 8. That's hard
Oh,
to
6,
stop.
8, yeah.
You know, so like he's making his stuff stronger.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, he's removing your opponent's resources now instead of removing his own. So instead of removing cards from the card pool, he's making your opponent flip their foundations face down.
Yeah.
So they lose their abilities. So he's become way more controlled, like how he was fighting Ochako in the festival. Remember how he was keeping her at bay, he was throwing explosions, and he knew his opponent, right? He was trying to get rid of their options so he wouldn't lose. That's kind of how his character is based now.
Interesting.
And the same thing for Midoriya. So instead of Midoriya trying to break his arms and fingers and his legs to just do like one really powerful hit,
Yeah.
now he's trying to take his time. So instead of breaking his whole arm to do 10 damage, now he's breaking a finger to do +3 damage and adding +1 speed. So you would discard a card now instead of your entire hand.
Makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Because he got smarter about using his body, right? So it's reflected in his card
True.
as well.
True.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, so as the characters grow in the show, and they just announced season 6.
For the show.
Yes, season 6
So-
for the anime is coming out later this year in fall.
So the card sets along with the seasons of the show. So there's
Not exactly.
Okay.
So the reason why season 1 and 2 were in set 1 and 2 is because it's the start of a new game. You want to kind of follow those first 2 because there's a lot of characters in season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Season 1 was 12 episodes and season 2 was 25 episodes.
Yeah.
So, you have a lot of cards that you can print. Well, you can't print them all in your first set. That's a bit overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
So they printed as much as they could for set 1, and set 2, since it was more focused around the villains and the hero and our young heroes in training, they printed those cards. And set 3 is kind of like set 1 and 2 mixed together for what they didn't make. So
Okay.
in set 2, they had the final exams, which is a lot of what's in here. So when Bakugo and Midoriya went up against All Might in the final exams, and he played the villain, so that they could work together
Yeah.
in that episode,
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's reflected in set 3. They weren't able to print out everything from the final exams. So Eraserhead in set 3 is going to be from the final exams, where he went against Momo and Todoroki. So you're going to get attacks and cards that were from those episodes of him in the final exams. Yeah, so that's what they're going with. They're going with like some of the movie, some of the OVAs, some of the stuff they couldn't print because they only had so much size for each box. So a lot of people were also asking for these things, including myself. I was asking for, where's Evil All Might? Where's Final Exams All Might? I want to play that version of All Might. So they made him. That's him in set 3.
That's
People were asking for like certain things that happened in season 2, and they were like, well, we're covering them. That's what we're going back and printing for set 3. So set 3 is going to be a mixture of things. Set 4 might be season 3.
okay.
Well, because you want to take a break. You don't want to just follow, and the show is only at season 5, and then you'd run out of material, by then. When they have, I think 3 or 4 movies for My Hero. They have the notebook OVAs. They also have the side content, like the Ball Might that we have at the store.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
from the OVA that was announced at Anime Expo.
Oh.
Where it's 2 of the adult pro heroes that became teachers. They're settling an argument by using the kids to play baseball against each other to settle their argument. So that's where that came from, So we're printing stuff like that.
How often do the new sets come out? Like, so let's say September is gonna be the third one.
Yes, so they do major sets. It's major sets at the end of every year.
Okay.
So like set 1 came out in October, November. I think it was October.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. So that was a major set. 180 cards, tons of promos. In March was supposed to be set 2, but it got delayed due to the I don't want to say it, but just the president that we had at the time and the issues that were going on with transporting goods overseas. So there a lot of the product was stuck on ships. Everything was stuck on ships. Computer parts and car parts, everything stuck on ships in the ocean. So set 2 got delayed, but it was supposed to come out in March. So it was like March, April-ish. So major sets at the end of the year, smaller sets at the start of the year. And then
So we basically have like 2 a year.
yeah.
That's cool.
And
That gives you
then
enough
smaller
time.
stuff. So it'll be like, major set, like 180, 200 card sets. That's your bulk set, your big sets, where you're gonna get all your staples, all your your ultra rares, all your secret rares and stuff like that. And then in April-ish, you get a smaller set to help that major set come out.
Yeah.
So that way you get more, just a little bit more stuff. You get another DLC to come out. You get more starter decks that come out. So if you want to play a certain hero, or if you want to play, just a theme deck for people who just want to collect, and then you get all that time until from April to let's say November for the meta to play out, for tournaments to play out, to have worlds and regionals and nationals and stuff happen. Yeah.
Of course, it's 1 hour of 80 all night.
Yeah, so like I said, there's 4 All Mights printed right now, but the 5th one is coming out in set 3 later this year.
Which is the September one.
Yes. So they've already showed him off. I don't know if I can find him real
Like a
quick.
spoiler already.
Yeah, like we're in spoiler season officially. So so they're already showing off a lot of the new cards. See, I can show you as an example. So this is one of the cards from set 3. So as you see, it's from the final exams match that Eraserhead had with Shoto and Momo.
Yeah.
So that's how they're doing it. Like the cards come straight from the show. So,
Cool.
yeah. So like I said, spoiler season right now, so everybody's excited. You know, as you see with Aizawa, he dropped death for water
Oh yeah.
because he got injured, you know, during the season 1 attack from the villain. So he had to rethink himself, right? He couldn't go all out stealth and hardcore martial arts because he's injured.
Yeah.
So now he's got to be more reserved. So now he's got to be more fluid. He's got to adapt to his situation. That's where the water comes from. No, I'm not. He's trying to be like Bruce Lee. You know, you got to be like water.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Mhm.
session that we had previously. No, I remember that. I remember that.
So actually, here's his new character card.
Oh, okay.
So you see he's at 6 health, 6 hand size now instead of 7.
Way
He's at
up,
27 health instead of 19. And he has some,
Water.
actually, he has completely different abilities.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, he's got less
Big.
abilities.
Yep. Yeah, even the depiction is not as aggressive.
Yeah, right? Completely different version of him.
Yeah.
Because in this one, he's recovering from injury. So he's not going to be as threatening as Teacher Aizawa, who was trying to kill everybody, you know? So, like, that's kind of like what they're doing and how they represent those changes.
That is myheroacademia.com.
Yes. So they post everything there. The next convention is Gen Con. And Gen Con has some special promos, which are awesome if I can pull them up.
What?
There we go.
What am I doing? My Hero Academia.
It'd be MHAcardgame.com. So if you've seen the show, at the end of certain episodes, they have kind of like this fantasy world that they go to. And those are the cards that they're printing. So it kind of has like Bakugo as like a dragon rider. It has Ida as a knight. Midoriya is like
Like
a
after
soldier in
credits?
training. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see, okay. I
Yeah.
need to watch that.
So as like,
Oh, so they're just like different art versions.
yes. So it's just altered art versions. So that All Might is the same as Ball Might. But the only difference,
Oh, okay.
the only difference between Ball Might and this version of All Might is that All Might can be played with All Might 4.
Hmm.
So I don't think I brought All Might 4
Play
with me.
purchase. And the exclusive promos.
Yep.
And this is GenCon?
Yeah, that's going to be Gen Con coming up August 4th through the 7th. I wish I could be there.
Oh, that's next week.
But I had medical issues. Yeah, so I wish I could be there, but I had medical issues. Oh, I forgot to mention with the packs. That's okay. So one thing that My Hero does is on the back of every pack, you get 1 point of redemption.
Okay.
So if you buy a box, you get 26 points. What you can do is, with all these packs, you can take them to a regional tournament and turn these packs in for promos.
Okay. Like the Little Caesars.
Yes.
Points.
Yes.
So how many? So what's the trade currency for that?
So under the loyalty program, there are different ways to get points. You can either buy packs, you know, or win packs for playing in tournaments, like how we do here at the store. We give 2 packs per person. The Plus Ultra packs come with a redemption point on the back of them too. The Victory packs also have a redemption point. So the more you play or the more you buy, the more points you get.
And then
Yep.
so even these ones.
Yep. So you can look right at the back and you'll see the little skull mark. And this is for all their games, all their IPs, for as long as they've
So-
been making games.
So so this is worth 1?
Mm-hmm. So when you play at, let's say, your local store, if you win a round, you get points for winning a round.
Okay.
And you can trade in those points for,
As well.
for promos.
On top of.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much is a promo? Like.
Depends. Certain promos are like 10 points.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's like 10 to 30 points. They're going to start adjusting those during the season. So, you know, when set 3 comes out, that'll be season 3. So anything season 1 or 2 will be at less value point-wise than it was during the season was active. So let's say you wanted Midnight, the adult hero with the whip and the corset and the leather and the rubber and all that stuff. The adult hero in the show. She is a promo. You can only get her by trading in your points.
Oh. But then you buy a box, that's some guaranteed promo, but that's 28. No, yeah, 28 points.
26 packs.
26 packs and 6 points.
Yeah. So that's 26 points. So when we have regionals in Pasadena or wherever we're having regionals, you can take all your points and turn them in to
That's
get cards. And those cards are very expensive. Like Midnight goes for $300 to $500.
Oh wow.
You can only get her from redemption.
Gosh.
And you can get other cards like that too. So like, let's say you wanted a non-foil plus ultra. Let's say you weren't able to play in tournaments, you weren't able to afford them online, but you bought boxes. You could get a non-foil version of plus ultra for, I think it's 10 points. Which leaves you, which means you could get technically 2 of them if you bought 1 box.
Yeah.
But since season 1 is over with, plus ultra might be 5 points because it's no longer in season, right? This is what they're doing moving forward. So, you know, if you wanted to get a full play set of plus ultra and you never got to play in a tournament but you bought packs, you can just go to that. You can go to Pasadena in September and be like, here's 30 packs.
Oh, nice.
What can I get? Yeah.
Oh wow, that's super cool. That is super cool.
And the reason why they have people sign up online, which is what we had, the little standee that's on the desk with the QR scan code, that takes you to the Organized Play website, which is for tournaments. So through your account there, it keeps track of your points. So they're going to increase the points during the season because, you know, during the active season, people are playing in tournaments, people are trying to go to regionals and worlds and nationals, etc. So I think they already announced that they're increasing in-store points to 50 points per win.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because they want to support the local game stores. So if people were coming here this season, they could get 17 to 50 points per win. Yeah, it's listed on their website under their loyalty program.
You still get points just for playing.
Yes.
Just for playing.
So you're getting packs for just coming in and
so
playing.
how many packs you get? Like just to
So you for just entering you would get
isn't it like 2?
1 or 2 plus ultra packs depending on the store. Because you would
No,
some
you get
stores,
one of these. Let's say at least one of this.
so that's guaranteed 1 point.
And then packs that are like normal regular packs. They're like-
So that
they're
would be like,
2.
let's say here, if you didn't win any games,
Yeah.
you would still get your plus ultra pack plus your 2 packs, so that'd be 3 points.
That's already 3 points.
Just
Plus
for
you have
coming
fun.
in and playing.
yeah. Plus you have fun.
You know, and then let's say you win a round. Let's say you win 1 round, you know, but
Yeah.
you lose the match. Well, that's more than 10 points.
Yeah.
Now you can go get a plus ultra card. See? So they want to reward you for playing, and that's one
That's
thing
cool.
I like
That is
about
cool.
Jasco.
Yeah, that's cool.
Jasco Games wants to reward the players for playing to make them feel like your time is being invested.
Yeah.
You know, it's not useless. You know, if you put in the time, you can get free stuff.
Yeah, because let's say, what if I'm not competitive, but I just like to have fun? Like
Exactly.
that's cool. I can come, you know, after a month, I have like 12 points, maybe more because I won
Exactly.
twice.
Yeah.
Now I have
and-
30 points.
And let's say you get better at playing over time. You know, let's say you're playing with the group that's here at the store, and you come to me and you're like, Verlon, you know what? I kind of want to win a little bit more. You know, I'm having fun, but I kind of want to win. You know, I like to win a couple games, and I help you build your deck up, and then you start winning a couple games, and then you're getting 100, 200 points, 300 points, and then we have a regionals in LA at the convention center or at the Pasadena Convention Center, and you're like, you know what? I want to go just for the side events,
Yeah.
just to have fun, and I can go get some promos. I can go get a $300 card with the points
True.
that I earned for just playing and having fun.
That's true.
you know, I can be rewarded for my time. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's what they're gearing towards. And it counts for older games as well. They
Oh, really?
all have the pack redemption on them.
Oh wow.
So let's say you bought a box of Street Fighter because you were like, oh, I really want to, you know, have some Street Fighter cards. You bought a box of Street Fighter. You can use those points towards My Hero cards.
That is cool. That's cool.
Because
Okay.
it's all the same system. Nothing's different. Nothing's changed. So the points still count. Mhm.
Just make sure you don't trash your.
Yes,
your
I tell everyone new, do not throw away packs. Do not throw away packs. I literally,
hilarious.
the first demo I did here, someone bought a box. And I looked at the trash can and I was like, there are a lot of packs in here.
I am dying.
And I looked at that person, I was like, do you know about the loyalty program? They were like, no, what is that? And I was like, well, I see you threw away all your packs. Those are points. And I explained it to them and they were like, oh, let me get those packs out,
Yeah.
out the trash. They started putting them in the box and they were like, I need to hold on to these. It's like, yes, you do. So, you know, and the character that person was looking for was promo only. It was, who was it? Oh my goodness, I forgot who that character was. That was only for promo. It was one of the adult heroes that they were looking for. One of the pro heroes from season 1. On the council. So I think it was Midnight Snipe, Ectoplasm.
Teachers.
The guy that doesn't have legs, who wears the cape and has like, the guy who can like multiply himself into clones. I think his name was Ectoplasm or something like that. And they really wanted him, and I was like, well, the character that you get from the promos. So
I'm trying to look at it. Well, it's
yeah, on their website you would look for the loyalty program. So
Tomura.
I believe they have the loyalty shop available. Remembering where it is the difficult part.
Home news products.
I think it would be it might be in news.
Crimson is the second one, right?
Yes. So Crimson Rampage is set 2. Yeah, loyalty program. It's in news.
It was a news.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the playmats.
Yes. So I have one of the playmats, but there are also other ones. See, so this is what I was talking about. So if you play in a casual tournament with no judge, if I wasn't here, you would get 10 points per win.
Oh wow.
If I'm here, it becomes a local game store event.
Oh,
you get
jumps.
50 points. You see that difference?
Yeah.
If you go to regionals, that's 200 points per win. Provisionals is the online tournament that they do every Saturday. If you win there, you get 100 points.
Wait. Online?
Yes. So every Saturday they do online tournaments for everyone in the nation.
How's that work?
You pay, I think it's $5 or $10, and you have your webcam. So kind of like how your setup is
just
here.
with the webcam.
Mhm.
Oh,
And you
that's
just
kinda
play
cool.
someone else on a webcam.
That's kind of cool.
And you get 100 points for that. And if you enter provisionals, they also send you a pack of promo cards that you can only get for joining provisionals. And what they're doing in the future is they're going to move provisionals to in-store. You know,
Oh.
because lockdown is, you know, we're kind of opening up. People are getting back in stores, so that's the next push. So if people come into the stores, let's say we do a provisional tournament, like we turn our
The ones
Saturday
yeah.
into a provisionals, people would get packs for
Oh,
entering.
wow.
They would get packs of promo cards, and they would get 100 points per win. So you see how that can work. And then of course, the pro national version, you win a round, you get 300 points. You can get everything on the list from winning one game.
Is there a list already? Well, okay, so,
So-
I went here.
There is a loyalty
News.
shop.
Where did
If you click the loyalty shop link, it'll take you there.
Okay, so I go to
So
the
you went to
website.
news,
Then I go to news.
news, and then loyalty program, which will be the first one.
You click on it. Okay.
Yep, and then you're gonna scroll down till you hit loyalty shop, and then it'll take you to the current loyalty shop. So it tells you right now.
Yeah, non-foil 45.
Mhm.
Non-foil provisional tournament, blah, blah, 80.
Yep. So that's what you're looking at for right now, because they're still adjusting the prices.
Oh, I have to set to the cookies. Oh wow. Oh, okay, okay. Yes, lovely.
So as you can see, it has the cards that you can get, right? So it has both heroes and villains, because they're not just printing the heroes. They have special cards that you can only get from the promos, which you can only get like Midnight, like I was talking about before. She's one of the pro heroes.
Oh yeah.
There's only two ways you can get her. One is the non-foil way through the redemption list. That card goes $3 to $500. If you get the top 8 version, which you can only get from getting top 8 in a tournament, that one's foil. That one goes for $700 to $1,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So like, there are cards that are worth money.
But wait, so that one top 8 of regionals?
Yeah. So if you get top 8 in the regionals, you can get.
You can get.
And it specifically says like how the victory cards I had said victory on them. It says top 8.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like even cards from set 1.
All Might.
So like Chrono Frog Takedown. You know, All Might 3, Double Front Beatdown, which you can also get in plus Ultra packs. You know, like I said, if you just didn't have a tournament to join, but you bought packs, you could still get these cards at a discounted price. So right now they're at, you know, this one's at 30 points, but when set 3 comes out, this will probably be 10 points because it's no longer in season. You know, like all these cards, you can get certain characters that aren't in the box. They're only promos. You know, only promo cards. You know, even Mountain Lady. You know, another. And then there are special attacks like Pillar Swing, which is a very good attack in this game.
So this one is 40.
Yep,
So that's pretty much like
that's 2
if I do a
boxes.
1 box 1 event. If I win one, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Selkie.
If I want the foil one, I still
You have to play. You have to play in the
play,
tournament.
but they do the same. So regardless,
Yep,
I
same
still have
card.
access to that same card. Even if I want the fancy one, sure I have to win it. But if not, I still have the I'm not at
Exactly.
disadvantage for not being able to be in the top 8.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, his name was Ectoplasm. So Ectoplasm was the guy that he wanted, and he's 30 points. So he was like, wow, that's 26 points I got from opening a box. I'll need a couple more points to get the character that I like from the show.
I mean, literally just buy 4 more packs.
Yeah,
Whatever.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Or, you know, play in the tournament and
And
get a
then-
couple more packs.
Yep.
You know? So that's what I mean by they want to reward you for playing. It's not just, you know, buy our product and not get anything out of it. It's buy our product, play our game, get free stuff. You know, so if you're a collector and you want to collect this stuff for yourself, it's there. You don't have to be competitive. You don't have to try to go to the national stage or be top 8. You know, you can still have a chance to just get the card that you like.
Yeah.
You know?
That is cool. That is super cool.
And then if you're inspired to get the foil version, if you want to get it, then you know what you have to do to get it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's kind of like everything that's going on where, like, as I said, like, there's a lot of cards to work from.
Yeah.
This deck is a work in progress, and I'm still figuring out newer things to do with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that when set 3 comes out, I'm probably going to have to work on it again, because there might be something new where I'd be like, oh my god, they printed this. You know, there's a couple more cards that I wanted from Todoroki, where I kind of felt like he just didn't have enough cards.
Okay.
And, you know, there's a possibility they might get printed in set 3 from him going up against Eraserhead. You know,
True.
He might get more
True.
foundations, he might get more attacks. You know, you don't know,
Yeah.
but it might be better cards that might help out my deck idea. So that's what I'm loving about the game. It's constantly growing, and not in a bad way. You know, it's not leaving you behind. It's not making you feel like your deck is obsolete. It's just newer ways to improve your deck, and you don't have to improve. If it's doing good on its own already, why upgrade?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to. Or you might find something that was better and stronger that you wanted in the first place. Oh my god, this effect I really wanted in the
Tuner
deck
cards
is
can
here.
make a huge difference because as tuner cards you just put in 8 new cards, really,
Exactly.
and it can change the dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm. Or you could just add in all the new cards
just
and
add-
build a super big deck that's like
My
standing up on the
500
table.
deck.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, but you know that's how it is. So yeah.
No, thank you so much for the explanation. Thank you for,
Yeah,
this
you're
is-
welcome.
I mean, we'll play again for sure, so
Yeah.
that make it easier for me to also,
Yeah.
you know, to like, oh
Yeah.
yes, I am doing this, I know what I'm doing.
As long as like the thing I say is like, you know, of course the more you play it, the better you'll get at it. The longest part of the game is the enhanced step. That's
Yeah.
honestly the longest part of the game.
that's what like,
Because it's just you learning, okay, what can I use? What can't I use?
yeah.
You know, and a lot of new players, they look at their hand a lot, and it's like, there's nothing you can do with your hand. Put your hand down.
Yeah, that's what I was noticed. That's why
Mhm.
I did that. I don't know if you noticed that I put
Yeah,
it down
you started
because
doing that. You were like,
I was
okay,
like, oh,
it's
this
the
is
enhanced step,
distracting
let
me.
me
Yeah,
put it
this is
down.
distracting me.
Because there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, no.
So, unless you're playing action cards, you don't
Yeah.
need your hand.
The only moment I saw it, it was when you started explaining, like, well, so this one stacks with this one, blah, blah.
Mhm.
That's why I was like, okay, so this one I want to use it either here or here, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I was thinking. You know, that turn took me like forever because I was like, okay, so I can do the whole thing now. But then if for whatever reason you block it, that was like my hardest like
Exactly.
hand ever, right? So like,
Mhm.
okay, no, so let me try using on the third one, and that's why I didn't commit anything.
Mhm.
Because I was, well, if it doesn't go through, at least I still have one more chance to hit.
Exactly.
But other than that, yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
And that's the good thing. It's
Yeah.
it's simple and together.
This still I need to like understand it more, like the momentum and all that. But
Yeah.
like, that's like the premium function of it.
Yeah. You know, like once you start to understand the core functions, then you start to understand like how do I want to close out the game? You
Yeah.
know, how do I want to win? You know, what can I use? Which is why, like I said, for building that Todoroki deck, it's getting difficult because there's so many cards that can lead to a finisher.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, I could go with all ranged attacks. I could go with fury attacks. I could go with stun attacks. I could go with all these different things to build around. But which one do I want to focus on? You know, and it's
Yes.
like, and then when you start seeing things that are similar, you're like, oh, I never noticed that before. You know, you may have never noticed that some cards had a certain keyword in them, or
Yeah.
a certain pattern to them. You know, like with Shigaraki, I don't think I have any. Do I have his attacks on him? I might have his attacks. Let me see. With Shigaraki, our main protagonist, he cares about burning people and turning them to ash, you know, which is a form of fire. So for his attacks, the way they simulate ash is by using the stun keyword.
This is the one you have, right? You have Lost Art,
Yes.
Lost Soldier.
Yep. So for Shigaraki, it became like I want to play him really bad, but I can't because there's too many cards that do similar things with him where it makes it difficult for me to focus on.
Okay.
Yeah, because his cards, like for example, with Bakugo, with him he says response, excuse me, after your opponent, let me see, after your non-throw attack deals damage, your rival loses 5 health. So remember when you were destroying that foundation or discarding it to do 2 damage to me? You could use a response after you deal that 2 damage where I lose 5 more damage.
On top of those two. Oh
Mhm.
wow. That's 7 there.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And those are unstoppable. Wow.
Right? So with him, he makes that burn effect of red really stand out where he wants to do that effect damage, right? But it's like, for me, it's like, how do I incorporate that into one deck? You know, there's so many other options I have.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Just have
he-
this one, face palm, take that.
Yeah, that's the one I had. So it's like, he has fire and death in his elements as well, just like Bakugo. You
Which
know?
one was this one?
So that the fork is evil.
Well, yeah, makes sense.
right? Because he's evil.
Yeah, I
So
get it.
it's like, okay, you know, they both have fire and death, so they both have similar cards. They both have cards that can help each other. So how do I narrow that down to 50 cards? You know, like that's the headache. Oh man, well I could put in, you know, I could put in the card that burns for 2 damage from Bakugo, and then they both have fury attacks. But their fury attacks are slightly different. Whereas Bakugo has powerful, Shigaraki has stun on his, because he turns you to ash, right? So he stuns you. So it's like, how can I mix the two? But at the same time, there's a foundation that Shigaraki has where it says your fury attack gains stun 1. And all you have to do is tap the
Oh,
foundation.
stun is
So you tap the foundation for the stun to give that fury attack stun for its keyword, and then it's like I can use that too. So then I can use more of Bakugo's attacks and then throw in this foundation and still give my attack stun, which takes away their resources. You know, like there's so that you start to see like where it branches out into more options, more and more options. And it's like I could use, one of my ideas for Shigaraki was using all of Bakugo's attacks and using that one attack that says for each fury attack in your discard pile it gains +1 damage, right? So I was like, I could use that because Shigaraki plays a lot like Bakugo, right? That's why they kidnapped him in the show, because they were like, he's kind of evil, he's brutal, you know, he's very dangerous, and they like that, right? He's very villainous. So seeing how they play similar together, it's not too much of a difference to try to put them together and tie their cards together, because they support each other. They both have 2 elements that are in common. So it's like trying to figure out a balance where you have so many options. I think one of Shigaraki's attacks, he has a couple really good attacks that I can never figure out how to play, because, well, not how to play, but how to put space in the deck for them. He has one attack where if his fury attack is blocked, the next attack gets +2 speed, +2 damage, just because it got blocked. Then it has a deadlock enhance where if your opponent is in deadlock, your opponent loses 5 health, just period. So like if you activate that ability plus his response, that's 10 health that your opponent's losing in one shot.
just one shot.
Yeah, that's without attacking. That's just them losing 10
Yeah,
health.
that's pretty much almost half the life of a lot of it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many options, and it's just like, how do I want to play this? You know, like I'm trying to narrow down 200 cards into 50 cards to make it
Yes.
consistent, and I'm like, something's being lost here, you know? And then I get lost in my own deck building idea,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, I could do this, and I could do this. Oh, I can mix in this for support. I can mix in a little bit of this, and then it's no longer the deck I wanted to build.
Yeah.
It's something completely different. But that's the fun of deck building. I mean, with any card game, you know.
I see you can also like send it.
Yes. So if there is no regionals nearby, you can mail them the packs, but you have to have 30 packs to mail them. That's the minimum. So you have to bundle them in packs of 30 and send them the packs, and then you tell them what you want, and they'll mail it to you.
That's cool still though.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. Clear form. Yes. I cannot.
And everyone's favorite characters are technically, well, not everyone's favorite characters, because season 3 isn't out yet, but the majority of people's favorite characters, I should say, are already in the game. Where you have, there are like 3 versions of Ochako, because she's very popular.
That's the one that I also had here?
No, there's Hatsume,
I know,
which
yes,
is
Hatsume,
there. Stain is in the game, as I mentioned earlier. They added more villains. So you have Toga, Shigaraki, Stain. Dabi is in the game as well. I know there's one in here somewhere because I just saw it. There we go. So you have everybody's favorite 3 trio for the villains. You know, you have Nomu, who was with them.
This is a whole
Yeah, it's a whole stack of just Stain.
Stain?
Yeah. He was very, very asked for. So
the convention.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you have President Mike, another one of the adult heroes. You know, you have Endeavor. You have everybody's favorite pervert, Mineta. And they even added in some of the lower characters, like Shinza, who only appeared in the tournament, you know, and he trains with Aizawa later in the seasons. They have another one of his classmates, which is, you know, Nito. They have Gran Torino, who trained All Might and Midoriya. Like I said, if you name a character, they're in the game. That's funny. And season 3 isn't out yet, so everybody's like, "Where's Lemillion? Where's Hawks? Where's the other girl? I forgot her name." That people were asking for. Like, there's so many characters. Like, every character that you see is in the game. So they're all of Class 1A is in the game officially. You know, this is only just what I have to build for people who don't have decks or who are interested. I have like all these stacks of characters for people, you know, who just like, you know, oh, I want a deck. I like the game. I want a deck. It's like, okay, well, choose
your poison.
Yeah, you know, choose a character. I've got plenty.
Are you still streaming?
Yeah. People still watching.
Hey, caramba.
You know, like there's 3 versions of Ida now.
See, it's a lot of options of. I mean, we went through. This is what we get when we play at the store.
Yeah.
And then we also get like literally pick the 2 that we know. The victory if you win, and then these are the top loaders if you buy a box, and then there's redemptions. And then you can send them by mail. They send you cards.
Yeah. Even the store can
I've
participate
heard
in
the
that.
spiel.
Yeah.
I know.
So if you wanted to get promos as a store, you can as well.
And I can keep them. And I can send them like.
So like if you want to do a tournament
promo them.
like the All Might tournament, you
Where
can
do
do
you
that.
get those cards? I just found them in the box.
So if you guys open up packs, you know, for the store, let's say, you can keep those packs and mail them. Yeah.
Well, like when we open Magic and we have to trust them.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this is just what I have for new players at my disposal, but
That's cool.
you know, and you could literally get all these in one box. Not even joking. In one box, you could get one of each.
Nice.
So it's really geared towards building decks and doing a lot.
I can tell people are watching.
Here.
So one
Say,
person's watching.
Yeah,
It's
somebody's
probably Nikki who's
learning.
bored.
Hi, Nikki. Oh, somebody's into that, My Hero Academia.
Yeah. I mean, My Hero is a fun game. As you played, it's straightforward, it's fun. Once you really get into it, it starts moving faster, and you start just getting into just beating each other down. You know, like beating each other down and figuring out combos. You know, maybe you might want to switch elements on a character, you know, and see how that plays. Or maybe you might want to switch out a whole character entirely, but keep the same element. You know, you can do that. Yeah. Like one thing that everyone has said about the game is no matter what you're playing. Like no matter what you're playing, Nomu is really difficult.
This one is famous, Jason.
Okay, I believe you.
Now you're gonna have to watch
Stain
all
was-
the seasons.
Yeah,
Binge
Stain was
watch
hard
it.
to build.
No, we have to
Just
binge
like
watch
you
it.
can see him fight.
Take notes.
Yeah, just put it on the screen.
We'll make cards for you, like the image of the
Yeah.
hero, the name of the power.
Oh yeah. So like Nomu, you should read Nomu. Nomu is a really crazy card.
So no more response. Commit one foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You're my foundation. Stain. Before. Oh no, that was it. Commit one foundation before the damage step of this unblocked attack. So, okay. Reduces damage to 6. Oh.
So you see his health.
35.
So you can, so if someone comes at you with 24 damage, you can be like, no, I take 6.
Wow.
Yeah. And since he's in,
Just with one foundation.
yep, with just one foundation. And the cool but annoying thing is that he's in death. And death also gains life, just like in Magic, you know? So you can sacrifice foundations to gain life.
What is a non-throw attack?
So a
That's the
throw,
normal one? Or
Yeah,
that's the-
just a regular
oh.
throw attack. So if it's not a throw, it won't say it. It'll say throw on it.
throw means it's unblockable
Oh, really?
to a degree. So anytime you see the keyword throw in blue,
That's
that means that even if you block it, you still take half damage regardless. Because it's a throw. You're grabbing
Yeah,
somebody and
throw.
slamming them on the ground. So
Yeah.
even if you block
Still
the
hurts.
attack,
Yeah, you're still gonna take a little bit of damage.
Okay.
yeah.
Are
So
these
that's
all like
really-
the same versions? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how you.
Yeah, they just group together.
From the boxes we opened.
Fantasiro.
And that's the cool thing, because even though you see he's on death,
Mhm.
well, Bakugo's on death, Shigaraki's on death, Eraserhead, who we saw earlier, which is not here, is on death, Dabi is on death, Toga is on death. When you start to see how many characters there are under the same symbols, you start to notice that I have a lot of cards at my disposal.
Minato.
Minato's on death. Like you start to see it, and you're like, oh, there's a lot that I can use here.
True.
There's a lot of different things I can pull from, and what can I use? Yuga Oyama is on death.
Yeah.
So it's like you start to notice that a lot of the darker heroes and villains have death in them. So you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I said with Magic, how black is black.
Let's see, which one I like? Midnight. So she's all.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then
that
the
would be
triangle.
all.
Triangle.
The triangle, which is chaos.
So all, chaos, and void, which is a gray one, right?
Yep, void. So you have a lot. So as far as void goes, you have Ida, Sero,
Chaos there.
yep, chaos,
Void.
chaos,
Void.
chaos. That's
All
all.
set.
So that's all.
This is
That's
all.
all. That's all.
This is void.
This is all as well. That's void. Gran
Void.
Torino's void. So you start to see the pattern, right?
This one, this, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dabi has chaos. Let me see. Who else? Just here.
Void.
Void. You see, there's a lot of cards. When you look at that, you're like, geez, I can build it in. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many cards here. I have options.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what I say. Like, you start to notice who has what, and you're like, oh man, I have a lot of choices. And you start to read their cards, and you're like, oh, this connects to this. I can put these two cards together, and that makes a combo. Oh man, there's a foundation that goes with this. I can put this.
Yeah,
in here
we
too.
have not even touched foundation.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And foundations make up the bulk of your deck, because you only have so many attacks. Like, mostly we go 14 to 22 attacks. Anywhere between there is, what's used.
Oh, okay. So foundations also have
Mm-hmm.
thingy. I don't know what you call it.
The elements on
Yeah,
them.
elements.
Mhm. And the element and the foundations are your support cards. So that's going to give you your plus speed, your plus damage. That's going to, subtract speed and damage from your opponent. That's going to allow you to draw cards like you saw with latent skill, or to deal damage. They do things with those elements depending on what those elements are. And it's kind of like a mixture, which is why I keep comparing it to Magic the Gathering, because when you know what the elements do, you know what death does. You know what black does, because black and death are the same thing. So you're going to sacrifice stuff, gain life, draw cards, etc., destroy cards, etc. Like you're doing that in here under death. So then when you add something else to it, like let's say water is the same thing as blue. You're going to draw cards. You're going to do your top deck stuff. You're going to look at your hand. You look at your opponent's hand. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck and see what they have. Water is the same thing. So water and blue are going to be the same thing. You know, but it's just they're split up into different ways of doing things. So like air is also considered blue. So you would have air and water kind of playing the same role, but in two different ways. Where water is more of the defensive side of blue from Magic, you know, a lot of the defense, the high blocks and stuff like that. Air is more like the offensive side of blue, the drawing cards, the playing more effects, more instant speed effects and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same way where you can just adapt to it if you know what you're looking for. My best friend, when he got into the game, he built Todoroki 2. And the reason he did that was because he wanted to play water. And he took all the water characters that I had and he lined them up and he was like, okay, who does what, right? And he started to look at the effects and he was like, I don't know what the effects do just yet, but I'm looking at what I think is the coolest thing to build. And he was looking at her, you know, because he was looking at water characters. So he was looking at, let's see, who else has water? Yeah, Mina has water. Both of the Ceros have water. And yeah, I think that's, yeah, Mineta 1 and 2. That's Mineta 2, yeah. So Mineta 1.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So he was looking at all those characters that had water in them that he could use, right? And he was like, okay. Out of looking at them and just reading them, he was like, Todoroki 2 has really good effects. He was looking at the plus speed, plus damage. He was looking at the stun. He was looking at the, what was the other ability that it has? Both players can add 1 momentum to their hand. And he was like, okay, so after doing the demo, we did the demo twice.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, so if I add a momentum to my hand, what does that mean? I was like, well, you're getting a free card to your hand. You know, usually it's going to be an attack. If you have a successful attack, it goes to your momentum, so you can get back to your hand and play it again. He was like, okay. And he started to think about that. And he was like, does water have any throw attacks? And I was like, yes, water has throws. So he was like, I can get a throw back to my hand. He's starting to like add stuff together, right?
Yeah.
He's starting to create his deck without even seeing the cards. He's just asking questions. And he's like, okay, water has throw attacks, so I can get those throwbacks and play them again. And use them for other things, or I can use them to block with. You know, I could add it back to my hand. So he's starting to like figure out how to build this deck without even looking at the cards. And so he's like, okay.
Nice.
He's like, so does water have anything to increase speed? You know, the speed of my attacks. I don't want my attack to be blocked. I was like, yeah, water has increased speed. So I showed him a couple of the foundations, and he was like, oh, okay. And some of them even gave your opponent minus speed. So he was like, oh, so this is very, you know, offensive and defensive. So he's starting to like put all this together in his head. And he built a deck that was actually tournament tier right out of the bat. Because I told you he's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! His whole life. So, and he's been playing the same deck for like 13 years. So he built this water Todoroki deck that has stun, that has throws, you know, unblockable damage, and it has control. And he built this very competitive deck to where he went to his first tournament and won. Using only commons and uncommon cards. No rares. No rares at all. And he won. And people were like,
how?
Like,
are you?
what is this deck? Like, what is this deck? And what, you know,
Yeah.
you know, this isn't even tier. And he's like, I built it myself. And they're like, there's no rares, there's no ultra rares, there's no nothing. And he was like, I don't need them. This deck does exactly what I want it to do. And he's happy with it.
Yeah.
And he's taking that same deck to regionals. And he has not upgraded it yet. Has not upgraded it yet. All he wants to do is like get the foil versions of the commons and uncommons
That he has, yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
makes sense.
he's looking at some cards that have dropped in price that are, you know, the ultra rares, where he's like, I could add that in. I could add in a rare or two in my side deck in case I need it. He's like, but I don't really need them, but it just would help me
Just
defensively.
like, yeah.
You know, or something just to side out. And he was looking at other characters. And he was like, maybe I can side out other characters. You know, maybe I can put in Mineta 2, who stops people from using throws against me. Maybe I can put in, you know, Sero, so I can change the zones of my attacks, because Sero 1 does that. So he could, you know, if he's playing a low attack with Sero, he could switch it to a high attack if they don't have any high blocks, or make it, you know, just change it up. So he started looking at other options, and he's like, I like my core deck the way it is, but going up against like top tier decks, I want to see what I can add in or out to make it more of an even matchup. And that was just from him playing one day of this game.
Nice.
One day. So, you know, it doesn't take much to play this game. A lot of us say, like, if you play no card games at all, it's easier to grow in this game because you're not restricted by, you know, how I used to play Magic, or how I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. And, you know, retraining your mind. You're learning from the ground up, so you don't, you know, you're not limited by other card games.
Yeah.
But if you have that experience from other card games, you start to see more patterns faster, and you start to see combos faster, and you start to see like, okay, well, this is a strategy that I can put, you know, effort towards and see if it works. You know, and then that way, you know, like how I said before with Tokoyami having a lot of high attacks, you know, that makes it harder for your opponent to block if they don't have any high blocks. And you can do the same thing with Bakugo and Shigaraki and Nomu, where you could give them all low attacks. And that's actually a strategy. You know, your opponent might not have a lot of low blocks. Ochako herself also has a lot of high attacks. Almost all of her attacks are high. Actually, all of her attacks in set 1 are high attacks only. Same thing with Tokoyami. You know, so you have this dynamic where it's like, it's a strategy that you may not have thought about, but it's there, and it wins games.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then you can combo with stuff. So like Gran Torino supports kicks, because you know how he is in the show. He's agile. He's jumping off walls and bouncing and using his air ability to propel himself. So he has kicks, he has punches. Well, Ida uses kicks. They both have void. They both have air.
Yeah.
You know, so they can combo with each other off of the kicks. And that's how that's how you start to translate stuff and build. You know, with Momo creates weapons. That's her power. She creates weapons from her body. Well, who else uses weapons? Stain. Stain uses swords and knives and stuff. So they both have the all symbol, so you can put their attacks together.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then same thing with Todoroki. You have Dabi. You know,
The fire.
mm-hmm. So since they both have fire, you can put them together. You know.
That is cool.
But like I said, I hate to say it, but it's like a circle of life in card games. You know, where stuff just connects. You know, and you start to see the patterns, and you notice, like I said, with Bakugo and Shigaraki, they both have fire and death. You know, so if you're building them, a lot of their cards are going to be similar because they have the same elements.
Yeah.
They support each other. But then look who else has fire and death. Dabi. So now you have 3 characters that have fire and death.
True.
So now you have even more support under just those 3 characters alone. You know, and then when you look at Chaos, you have Dabi, Ochako, Mina. You know, they're all pulling together in Chaos.
Yeah.
And then you have Jiro with all, and they all use weapons. And then you can throw Eraserhead into this, because he also uses weapons. His cloth. His cloth is his weapon. So, and then even when Shinzo 2 comes out, he trains with Aizawa in season 3, and he gets that same cloth fabric. So he's going to have weapon attacks too. So then he'll probably, you know, he has all already. So that's another person that you can add into this mix of weapons and all.
Yeah.
You see? I say I don't want to. I'm not trying to repeat myself, but it just once you connect the dots, you know, like you see where stuff is going.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And then you start to look at your attacks and your foundations and how they work together, or how they support just what the character is doing. Maybe they don't support what that character is doing at all. You know, where with Shoto, I showed you how some of his attacks you needed to have water in your element, or otherwise you couldn't use those effects.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't use them with Dabi, because Dabi doesn't have water.
Yeah.
So you would probably take that attack out.
You see, which is better? I like Midnight. That one is a chaos, all, and void.
Mm-hmm. So that'd be this line right here.
Yeah.
So you have literally your all, including him. You have your void.
And chaos.
Yep. You have your void, your all, your chaos.
It's like half of the.
Mm-hmm. Because of those three elements, and including Denki. Denki has chaos, but he's one of the stronger chaos characters in the game because he uses electricity. So stun is really powerful with him. He has cards that have his strongest attack is called Indiscriminate Shock, 1.3 million volts. It's his big attack in season 1 where he like shocked everybody that was around him. That card gets +1 damage for each card that your rival has committed. Okay. So if you tried to block his attacks and you had to commit cards, he has stun on all of his attacks. Stun 1, stun 2. So then his big attack says for each tapped card your opponent has, it gets +1 damage.
Wow.
I've gotten that attack up to 24 damage once. I think 24, 28 damage. Yeah. Just stunned out everything they had and just went for game. And they were like, I can't block.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. Like I said, you have a lot of options.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to look at some of the cards, because I have this folder just kind of like to help people build decks when they first start, and it's got a lot of stuff from set 2. I've got to add more stuff from set 1, but yeah, I have the characters up front that I originally had for new players before I went to Anime Expo.
Yeah, but now you have like.
Yeah, now I have like all this, and I can't, I'm not gonna put them all in there, but yeah, like just.
And your 1 point.
That I got a couple weeks ago that I use as an example. But as you can see, like this is one of Stain's attacks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you start to see, like, man, there are a lot of effects. There are a lot of cards.
Yeah, Lil, you have to read one by one.
Yes. And it can be a bit overwhelming, especially like the attacks are probably the easiest thing because you don't have to have a lot of them. It's like 14 to, depending on how big you want the deck to be, you have 14 to 20 attacks or 22 attacks. I think the most I've ever seen is 24 attacks in a deck. And that was like an 80 card deck. But foundations are the bulk of your deck. If you're not playing action cards or assets, which I haven't even shown you, they're green cards, but I don't have any on me right now. But if you're playing action cards, those get counted in with your foundations because they're non-attacks. So you have way more non-attacks that you have to put in the deck than you do attacks. You're maybe putting in 14, 16, 18 attacks for a deck, but then 30 to 40 foundations or non-attack cards.
Oh, floating around my baby. I remember reading something, yeah.
Yep. This is one of my favorite blocks in the game.
Beta copy?
Yes, because it's like a mini plus ultra. So plus ultra's first ability. So that passive in white text
normal.
So no matter how much speed you give your attack, those two cards will bring that speed down to nothing.
Yeah.
So that way you can always block it. And then before I got the plus ultras, I had the evading copies, which is what I loved. Because I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And then when I got plus ultras, I was like, oh, now I can have
Plus
8.
ultra is also redeemable, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just got the victory one. which
Yeah,
is like
I got the victory
foil,
ones from Anime Expo,
but then you can still have the just redeem it.
Yep.
That's
so,
cool.
So then I could have 8 copies of that kind of block
Yeah.
in one deck. So, it makes it really defensive, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just kind of like what they're doing.
This is just like green.
Yeah, so that's an asset card. So assets go in the stage area, but you cannot tap them to pay for checks.
Okay.
Mhm.
These are just like foil. The
So
foil
these are
versions.
like rares and ultra rares. Here's one of Shigaraki's attacks. That's the one I was thinking of. The crazy one.
Oh, it goes back to your hand.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is really powerful.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at Shigaraki and you look at Bakugo, it's like, man.
Oh, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes down to like you do have to read
Mm-hmm.
everything to know.
Yeah, and then like that last card, there are certain cards that you can only use with certain characters. That one.
That one.
So with that card, you can only use that second ability if you're using Endeavor or Todoroki. And certain characters have cards like that. Like Shigaraki has an attack where he has an enhance where you can only use it if you're playing Shigaraki as your main character.
Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. That's kind of cool. Oh, this is from the judge.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I've been judging for quite a while. I've gotten a lot of those cards. I think I have like 21 All Might 3s technically that are judge promos because I've gotten him that many times. Yeah, but see, that's what I said. You can get these.
You can still get it.
So you can get these from just entering a tournament. You can get them from Plus
Yeah.
Ultra packs that are foil like this, or you can get the redemption ones which are non-foil.
The redemption.
Mhm.
That is.
And that's a really powerful card for both Bakugo and Midoriya. But it comes at a very steep price because it's a one check. But if you read the Bakugo Midoriya effect, you're
Yes.
getting to build 2 free foundations from your discard. That could make or break a game.
Yeah.
And you can only get that effect if you're playing one of them.
Yeah. So yeah, like the card that you don't want to burn that card.
Exactly.
You have those characters.
Mm-hmm.
This is so cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna log into the website to like read. See what
Yes,
they want.
and the cool thing is on their website you can actually read a lot of the cards from set 1. So they have them just there on the website.
Yeah.
There's also a deck building website for this game.
Really?
Yes. It is called UBS Ultra,
Okay.
and you can build decks from all of universes.
Oh, that's
And,
what we're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
So you can make a profile for free, and you can just build a deck and have it there saved, or you can show it off publicly. Like Magic the Gathering has it for EDH Rec.
Yeah, I
They
remember
have a
that.
website like that but the thing about the universe's website is it actually gives you hard stats. So it tells you like how many blocks you have, what the risk is of you having a bad hand, what the chances are of you pulling certain cards. You can test out your opening hands. You can see the stats
That's
on.
interesting.
Yeah, you can see the stats in your deck of what cards you have and the ratios and stuff, and they actually give you pie charts. It comes
Really?
like it built into the
Hardcore.
website.
It is
Yeah, it's
hardcore.
really hardcore for those who love
Yeah.
stats, and like you can make the adjustments on the fly. And it saves your deck, so that way if you want to change it later, or if you want to just remember it. Like I use it whenever I do deck profiles on my TikTok or my YouTube. I'll do the profile and I'll upload it so people can see it. Man, and like that website like has shown me a lot. One of the top content creators, his name is Tam Cardwell. He uses that site to do videos to help people build their decks. So he calls it his Deck Doctor series. And people send him their deck through the website, and he makes a copy of it, and he makes changes of their deck to like show them like this is what you could put in there, and he'll ask them like, what do you have, what do you own, what can you afford, okay, well based off what you can afford or what you have, I would put this in there, I would put that in there, and he's making changes on the website in real time, and showing them like, hey, on stream, like this is what I think you could do to make your deck better for your locals, and then his chat chimes in, hey, what about this card? What about that card? I see where this guy's going, and
That is really cool.
yeah, the
I'm
website.
gonna check it out.
Website is awesome.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, that's like one of the things that just comes along with with the game. It's got a lot going for it. It's also on Tabletop Simulator. Jasco supports Tabletop Simulator officially, non-officially.
Yeah.
Like it's the only thing that you can play digitally, but they have in their own official Discord places where you can go and find a match. If you only have Tabletop Simulator and you don't own physical cards, they have space for that in their Discord channel, where they have people who can find it, and they have like instructions on how to set up Tabletop Simulator, because it has all the cards from universes ever printed in the game.
Nice.
And there are some other websites that are now starting to support My Hero. There was another site that was normally used for Commander. They're now supporting My Hero, where you can upload the cards and test them out against a computer, or test them out against other people online. I saw someone posted in the official Facebook group. But yeah, like the game is expanding. If you can't play it in person,
Eventually you can do it online.
yeah, you can do it online. They host 2 tournaments every week on webcam. They have their webcam weekly, which is every Wednesday. Then they have provisionals, which is every Saturday. I think the provisionals is $10, and the webcam weekly is $5, and you get promos just for entering, and you get packs.
How much is like Gen Con? The ticket to get in?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I know for Anime Expo,
How much was on Expo? Yeah.
if you try, well, they sold out their last week, but if you tried to buy that week, it was $120 for tickets.
A day? No, the whole day.
For
I think that was
the
a full
4-day
pass. That was
pass,
full pass,
yeah.
yeah.
For the 4-day pass, the 1-day pass I think was $80 to $90. something
One
like that.
day?
Yeah, because they start low right after con. So like 4th of July is when it ends. August, September.
So let's
like
say what's like
around
maybe
Oct-
$30-40 to go to Gen Con? Because it's not as big as...
It's big.
But
Gen
as
Con's big.
expensive, you think?
No.
Because my point is like, if you go there and you spend
If you
like
go there,
$50,
You could
you have a chance to just like have fun, obviously.
you have fun.
And then trade some of the
There,
promos.
you can get promos. There, those fantasy versions are the ones you get for going to the Gen Con.
Just for going.
Yeah. So if you go there, just like how we did the Anime Expo, if you demo the game, you can get the promos.
That's cool.
That's kind of what we do at all of our anime conventions. You want to learn how to play the game. Here are some promos as a thank you for coming and sitting down and learning the game and playing it. Yeah, so there's probably going to be more free stuff or more collectible stuff that's there. I know they're going to try to run a couple tournaments at Gen Con. I believe Core TCG in Pasadena is going to support the tournament side for the con. So that way, they can have... We didn't have it at Anime Expo,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because, it was just a rush, but... you'll have the judges on one side, and then you'll have the tournament on the other side of the
Yeah.
of the booth area, with merchandise in the middle. So you'll be able to buy stuff in the middle. I think probably to the right side of the merchandise table will be demoing area, and then to the left will be like side events, tournaments, sealed tournaments, and stuff like that.
Right.
So Core TCG will be running those tournaments
Cool.
and side events for the convention. There won't be any on-site redemption because it's an anime convention, not a regional tournament or a major tournament.
Okay.
So if you want to turn in your packs and get the promos and stuff, you have to do that at a regionals or a nationals, where it's a major tournament because that's where they'll have everything there.
When is the next regional?
That is September 3rd and 4th in Pasadena.
So that's with the
For us here, yeah.
just when everything's coming out too, with the third set. How much is like to get into that?
I don't know. They haven't released the prices
Not yet.
just yet. No. But hopefully it won't be the same weekend as the pre-release for the set. I really hope it won't be. But even if it is, they'll be doing side events and selling product there themselves. They'll probably be doing drafts for the sneak peek at the convention. If I get any information, I'll post it out there. I'll let you know. But it should be around that time when the next set is coming out. So it'll be pretty big. That'll be huge for us out here. This is our first major tournament out here for the game. The game is still new. It's not even a year old yet. They've been doing tournaments. So far, every state has been slowly getting a tournament. I know Florida just had theirs. I think Florida had a regionals the same weekend, the same 4th of July weekend, or right afterward. I think it was either the same or right afterward, something like that. But they post their tournament schedule on their website. It's in their news feed. So you'll be able to, find out where there's a tournament near you. Of course, if you use the tournament website, you can find out where your local store is or where your local regionals is going to be at and when it's coming towards you, because they post there early enough, just like how we post here, weeks in advance for our tournaments.
Well, that's cool because like ultimately people come and the events that we do like weekly, they still get points. And then the one that we do monthly on Saturday, they get like 5 times more points, right? That's the one that you showed me.
Yes.
So
that's 50 points for winning, on those Saturdays when we do those tournaments. And if we get enough people, we could just run those every Saturday or every Sunday, And then, you imagine that, like every week you're getting like
at least 50.
At least, minimum 50, like what, probably 53 points. If you win one round and then you get the 3 packs, 53 points. You could immediately go to the next regionals and be like, oh, I want this card and this card and this card. And it's already in the system under your account. All you have to do is bring the packs and use your points.
True.
That is cool. That is a good point. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to
Yeah.
explain me about that. I'll do a little bit of homework so that I can read next time now. So much in the blank.
And if you want to
more
build your own
knowledgeable.
deck, I have plenty of extra cards. I mean, there's more than this at home, but if you find a character that you like that I have, we can build something. We can start working on something, and you have your own deck to play, and maybe you could stream it. Maybe we could do a match.
Yeah. 2 more. That way,
Yeah.
as you say, that's the only way to like learn.
You just got to get used to the mechanics. That's really it. Playing the cards is easy. Remembering what your cards do is the hard part.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my homework. I need
Yes.
to go to the website, choose a character.
Yeah, or
Okay.
even watch the show again.
Yeah.
So that's what I did when I started playing. I watched the show and I was like, who do I like?
Yeah.
Who's close to my play style? And as I'm watching it, I'm looking at the cards and I'm going, oh yeah, Bakugo does do that. He is very ruthless. He's very in season 1 he was very like, oh, if you stop this attack, I got another one coming right after you. And I was like, yeah, just like the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah, so that's what helped me build. I fell in love with, my first deck was Oyama, because I just really loved his character. He was always smiling, always twinkling, he was speaking French, and I'm a French speaker, so I was like, we have a lot in common. And he was the first deck I built, and I had fun with him.
Nice.
now he's extremely powerful, and I'm like, I could build him again.
Yeah, I'll pick one. I'll pick one. Or maybe, yeah, maybe 2 or 3, just that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I see it, they might be in the same.
Mm-hmm. If you see an element that you're, when you're doing your research, if you see an element that you're gravitating towards because you like what it does, I mean, like, think about magic.
Yeah, red, black.
Mm-hmm. Red, black, blue, green, like white. If you see something that you like in magic,
Yeah.
I can help you build it in my hero because it's the same elements. We just have to find a character that does what you want, and then apply those same, mechanics, and then bam, you got yourself a deck. Like how my friend did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look at the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like already halfway looking at
Yeah, I see you've been
Yeah, that's
already
what I'm
like,
wait.
you're already like,
reading
man,
it.
some of these cards, you're like, some of these characters look pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, like I said, for me it was mostly just, it was figuring out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And for me, what I wanted to do was beat the store manager where I played. That was my inspiration.
Your goal one.
Yeah, goal one was get revenge on Aizawa,
Fair enough.
And then once I got my revenge, I was like, this game is awesome. Okay, now how do I build for myself? Then I played my first tournament, and it was, okay, how do I beat these people? and once I learned how to keep up with them, that was, I had Tokoyami, and it was just a matter of figuring out how to tweak him for tournament play.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't going up against Eraserhead from the store manager. I'm going up against other people, and those other people were playing Zero. They were playing Nomu. They were playing Jiro, who's very control. They were playing Shigaraki for the burn, and Denki for the stun, and I was like, wow, these are so many things that I don't know how to handle because I haven't played them. So once I played them, I was like, I went home and I was like, okay, so I learned that these two like to do a lot of stun. So I was like, okay, is there anti-stun in my elements? And there was. So I was like, okay, there's anti-stun. And then I realized that Shigaraki also likes to stun. So I was like, okay, if I see them, I have cards for them. And then Jiro is very control. She likes to look at the top card of your deck or the top 2 cards and either discard them or put them in any order. Very control heavy. So I was like, okay, I can't do anything against that.
Yeah.
So I just got to just play it out and just try to have the better hand. And then against Nomu, I was like, I just got to kill him as fast as possible. Maybe try to tap his foundations or destroy them or something. Since I was playing Fire Tokoyami at the time, I could destroy foundations. So I was like, let me destroy his foundations and their foundations and her foundations, and it moved to this whole fire, burn, destruction deck. And that's how I started winning. But it was just from playing constantly. So yeah, once you figure it out,
Yeah.
it comes easy. You just start putting stuff together, and I think that's the fun part about the game is just the characters are so diverse themselves that once you start to read what they do and you apply it, you're like, well, if my opponent did this, you start reading characters and you're like, you're exactly who I need to counter this person. It just makes it easy and fun. So
Well,
yeah.
Thank you very much to the people that were watching and the person that watched the whole stream.
Yeah, thank you.
If you have any questions, on our Instagram, you can literally post a question and I'll ask you.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we're gonna be trying to play these more often for everybody too.
Yeah.
And Saturdays, the third Saturday, the
Yes,
fourth,
third
the
Saturday.
third Saturday of every month, we have a little tournament.
Yes, we're going to be doing LGS tournaments. So those
Like
are the
a
50.
sanction, yeah.
Those are the 50-point tournaments that you could earn, and then every Sunday we're
Then
doing
you get
casual
your
Sundays.
packs, thingies.
Yep. So every Sunday we do casual tournaments and meetups, where
Which
some,
still give you points.
yes.
But
Yeah. So you still get 10 points. Yeah, just
That's
for
it.
coming in. And if you need deck help with, help building your deck, that's what I'm here for. That's what the meetups are here for. We have our other players that like to trade cards and help other people build decks. So we have our community here on Sundays. And yeah.
Cool. I don't know how to fold this. I know which I don't want to
Yep.
point it.
So fold in the middle and then fold back
Okay.
and
Funimation.
fold back. Oh yeah, they're always watching.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
I watch it on Crunchyroll.